Life's a ride, so let's make it count. Cherish every moment, that's what it's about. Tune in together, we're building our groove. Every beat, every laugh, we're ready to move. A little laughter, some love, we're soaring high. Every single episode reaching for the sky. News on the airwaves, spreading good vibes. Friends together, watch how our spirits rise. Kick back, unwind, leave the troubles behind. This podcast is gold, the treasure you'll find. With every word, we'll light up your day. Join the conversation, let's laugh all the way. A little laughter, some love, we're soaring high. Every single episode reaching for the sky. News on the airwaves, spreading good vibes. Friends together, watch how our spirits rise. Kick back, unwind, leave your troubles behind. This podcast is gold, a treasure you'll find. Life's a ride.
Hello. Welcome back to the cafe. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you're all having a great day. Great to be back with you guys. Mama Bear's going to be here. She's messing around with things with her settings again, I believe. Come on in, guys. Get a seat, get comfortable, do your thing. The link is pinned in chat, guys. If you would, please jump on over, hit Mama Bear's like button as well. Subscribe if you haven't, of course. And welcome back to the morning show, folks. It's great to be here with you guys. I know it's afternoon for some of us, but I had a lot of stuff going on. So it's morning for me still. First of 2 shows today, and boom, there she is now.
Hello.
Good morning, Bear of Mama. How are you?
I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah.
That's good. Are you loading it in to try to set it up or what?
Why does it say log in?
Oh, wait, you can't do it. I forgot. Shoot. That's right. Sorry. Dang it. I gotta get that dealt with. Or to get on the other situation. Restream. Was it Restream was the one that we were talking about starting to use possibly? And she's gone. Okay, I'm talking to myself here. Come on in. Grab your coffee, folks. Again, welcome back to the morning show. We're going to be seeing what's going on in the world around us today. We've been missing out on because we've been really, really concentrated on Idaho, which we'll be back in Idaho later this afternoon. But besides that, all the other things going on, we need to catch up on that too. So let's do that today. And again, there she is. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can.
And yep. What the frick? All right. Let me try.
Okay, let's see who we got over here so far. Sassy Cassie's in the house. Lisa Joe, hello. Good to see you. Good to have you here. Lisa J. Restream sucks. Lisa said, okay. Thank you for your input, ma'am. Very helpful. Tomboy Charms in the house. Good to see you. Stormy, welcome back to you. Welcome to all my blue crew. Of course, you know that I couldn't, wouldn't, or shouldn't ever do it without all of y'all. Thank you so much. Horse to Walt, what's going on? Good to see you. Oh, shoot, Mama Bear. Give me one moment.
This is really annoying.
We okay here?
Mm-hmm.
What happened? And there she goes. What happened? What's going on?
Not up there.
Huh?
The thing to dual stream's not up there. Even when I use a different.
I know. I just remembered though. Remember because
Oh, yeah.
because I have to pay for that now, and I'm
Yeah, I
not
forgot.
on that plan until I can get the money together to do it. So sorry.
It's okay. I forgot.
It's okay. And I forgot, and I need to handle that as soon as I can so that we can. I'm so sorry. SRB, welcome back to you, Alicia J. Wisdom Speaks is in the house. Good to see you. I have some of it due to donations. Thank you again. So pretty soon I'll have it all and we'll be good. Sassy Cassie's in the house. Tomboy Charm, good to see you as well. Horse TV again. What's up, Walt? Good to see you. Mikey, what's going on, Mikey? Good to see you, brother. Good to have you here. There's the link to Mama Bear. Guys, you can still jump on over there, hit the like button over there, subscribe if you haven't, please and thank you. I would really appreciate it. It's still pinned in the chat as well. Smokey Jane, I love your name. Good to see you. Good to have you here. Summer Thunder, good to have you back. Good to see you as well. Miss Paula, good morning. It's wonderful to see you as always. Thank you for joining us today. Mike and Mike, the last 24 is in the house. Mikey joined me last night, Mom. It was awesome.
I saw that.
It was actually really cool. I like it. I like now that he's got his whole setup and everything, and he was doing like I was going for something. He threw it at me, bam, bam, bam. It was great. I loved it. Very cool, Mike. I think I got everybody so far. 21 peeps in the house, 11 likes. Can we make that match, everybody? I appreciate that so very much. Miss Lacey, welcome back. Good to see you today. Miss Brady B, the OG, just popped in here. I am not ignoring you. I just now saw you. What did Cassie say? Oh wait, is that SR BB? Yes, it is. Welcome, SRB. Nice to see you too, Miss Paula. I always like the stream before. Of course you do. Most everybody does, Miss Lisa. It's part of what we do. Part of what we do. It's the BBB. Another great show yesterday. Then I joined Sarge last night. He did mostly a JFK show. It was kind of interesting. For those of you that popped over there to support him there, I appreciate that very much. He does as well. He's probably going to be joining me because he was anxious to jump into this one tonight. We did pull up some stuff last night on some of the old stuff that Miss Kim was talking about. Kim, WSU mom Kim, and it pointed out in my notes, 8:30 a.m. was the first text message received, or instant, whatever it is, about what happened there. Makes me wonder, who did it come from and why? Now that we know that there were certain people on social media that time, I'm just curious. I don't know. Yeah, Mikey was great up there. It's okay, Miss Lisa. You have no worries. You don't ever have to apologize for that. Like you said, the one day you really don't know a whole lot about it, and you cover a lot more of the cold case stuff, I think. So, never ever have to apologize, dear. Please, you do amazing things, and I appreciate everything you do. So don't ever worry about that. Me too, Stormy, like the old days. Yeah, Mikey, that was great up there, dude. This Christmas, join me on Misfit Island. What are we talking about? Miss Wisdom Speaks. How come everybody's just now starting to pop in here? Can you see the chat, Mama Bear? Does it ever roll where it doesn't show anybody until like after the fact?
It seems a little slow.
It's like, yeah.
Because I'm like, is this seriously nobody chatting? And then I'll go pull up my.
And then there'll be more, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's been doing. Good morning, Miss Wisdom. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us today. And then, like I said, Brady was probably in here. Then it just shows up after the fact. It's weird. I don't understand how this thing is another thing. I'm going to say it. StreamYard's been bugging. Because it has. It's delayed, right? Exactly. And I don't know. I don't get it. Repeat what, Miss Tomboy? Seriously, no one is chatting in Lisa Joe's loud ass mouth. Oh, you're fine. StreamYard be bugging. I know your mother hates it. She said it right there. For fuck's sake, Jago. She's like, we don't say bug it in here. So there's a few things that we have because we've been busy with Idaho and everything else that there's other things going on in the world we haven't caught up yet to. So hold 1 second, my son.
Oh, my elevator music. Yeah. Let me see. Wow. Hey, Sarge.
All right, sorry. All right. Sarge is in the house. Good to see you. Open Mind Perspectives. Welcome back. Welcome to the morning show, guys. We're just looking at what's going on around the world. This afternoon, we'll be jumping back in to finish up our Idaho show we started yesterday. Bringing back some of the old stuff that went down and seeing how it matches up to what's going on right now. That will be this afternoon after this show. Right now, we're just looking into what's going on around the world, current events, things that have happened, catching up, things like that. So, good way to start the day, in my opinion. So, let me see. Morning. Critical, good to see you. Eddie's in the house. One made nut, good to see you as well. see somebody else I may have missed. Critical, good to see you. Critical, open mind perspectives. Welcome back, dear. Sergeant
What you
Friday.
talking about, Wisdom?
Thank you for having me last night, Sarge. What'd you say, Mom Bear?
I said, what you talking about, Wisdom?
What'd she say? Trial in August. What? Oh, hell no. Don't be saying they're trying to change the trial. We ain't going there. Please don't say that. Oh, she said, never mind. You got everybody. Miss Sherry. You got people up in arms here. MS-13 leader captured. Oh, wow. Interesting. Good stuff, Sarge. Great show last night, Sarge, by the way. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm going to be able to use some of the input that he gave last night for when we cover the JFK situation. Very interesting. Very interesting. No, it was in June or July, Alicia, I do believe. I thought. Isn't that what it was?
I thought it was August or September.
Oh, well, maybe I'm wrong then. Maybe I'm just looking at, I got things written down all over the place. I need a new calendar is what I need so I can have these things where I can just look up and see it.
And Wisdom said it was scheduled for August.
Was it? Okay. So then what am I thinking about June or July about then?
Is that Sterns or is he
Is that the
September?
pre-trial stuff, maybe? Maybe the pre-trial stuff, because I had a bunch. A bunch of things written down. I can't remember what the heck they is for. I know, that's the whole thing. Whenever you know and listen to be wrong. She's not. That's the problem. That's why I'm like, when she says something, I typically tend to believe it. And seeing that, they had me confused that I went back to that whole June, July thing. Like, what am I? Just ignore me. I'm not here today. Sorry. August 11th. Okay. That does make sense. I do know better. Sorry, Mom. She's like the channel mother, so I feel guilty when I. Sorry, Mom. Didn't mean it. It's okay. So what else is going on in the world? Mama Bear, how's everything with you?
Good.
Good. Good. Good. Good. Good. Good. Good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. I do have. Let's see here. If I can find it. Sorry, you guys. There we go. Oh, this thing. I want to start the day with this right here. Sorry to get anybody's blood boiling right out of the gate. I don't mean to, but another horrible case that we've covered. I'm kind of irritated about this too. Hold on here. I don't know who this creature is. Adam Montgomery was sentenced to 45 years to life for the murder and minimum total of 11 more years, all to be served consecutively for charges falsifying evidence, tampering with a witness, and second-degree assault. Oh, hold on 1 second, you guys. Sorry, somebody's at my door. Mama Bear, hold this for 1 second. I have an issue I got to deal with real fast.
Okie doke. Ruh-roh. Tell you a story. Yikes. I'm not good with stories. Okay, once upon a time. Oh, you don't want me to sing. Trust me, you don't want me to sing. Okay, so once upon a time, it was a dark and stormy night. The thunder was fiercely rumbling. Ego's computer ghost was lurking. Ew, Andrew Dice Clay's gross. All right. For all you coffee drinkers, what do you call a sad cup of coffee? Anybody? Good job, Tomboy. Depresso. Sarge said tea. Yep, that was it, Lisa Joe. Depresso. That would have been close. How do you organize a space party?
All right, here we go. We're good to go. Sorry about that, everybody. I didn't realize that was gonna happen. Excuse me. So again, we know who Adam Montgomery is. The Harmony Montgomery situation, as horrible as it is. During a sentencing hearing at Hillsborough Superior Court Thursday, May 9th of 24 in Manchester, New Hampshire, he was found guilty of second-degree murder earlier in the year in the death of his 5-year-old daughter, Harmony, who police believe was killed nearly 2 years before she was reported missing in 21, which we all know this story. It's horrible. Wait a minute. New Hampshire man who was convicted of second-degree murder in the death of his daughter, Harmony, has filed an appeal in the New Hampshire Supreme Court. Investigators believe Harmony was killed nearly 2 years before she was reported missing in 2021. Her body was never found. Adam Montgomery was sentenced to 45 years to life for murder and a minimum of 11 more years, all to be served consecutively, like I said. The first concerns the combining of the assault case with the murder case. According to court filings, the defense, excuse me, guys, the defense believed the assault charges tied to an incident in July of 2019 would be approached separately from the murder charge, which alleged events on December 7th, 2019. However, the defense says the prosecution used the assault case to establish a larger pattern of abuse. During the trial, the defense requested the cases be severed, but I think they need to burn this guy. I'm done. I can't stand this case.
Right.
While the evidence may have been part of Sori's story, what circumstances does not make the evidence admissible. The disputed evidence was not necessary or essential for the jury to... Wait a minute. Is this the same thing? Oh, I see what they did. Let me back down. This tied to a larger defense argument that the court should not have admitted bad acts evidence that Adam assaulted and neglected Harmony in the 2 weeks leading up to her death, and that he prevented her mother, Crystal Corey, from seeing her daughter to cover up the abuse. While the evidence may have been part of Corey's story, that circumstance does not make the evidence admissible. The disputed evidence was not necessary or essential for the jury to realistically evaluate the evidence about what happened to Harmony on and after December 7th of 19, the appeal reads. Another concerns testimony by Kayla Montgomery, Adam Montgomery's wife, and Harmony. Yeah. No. Kayla was issued an 18-month prison sentence after pleading guilty to perjury charges related to the investigation into the child's disappearance. Testified that her husband killed Harmony on December 7th of 2019. Everybody failed this child. Everybody, including her biological mother, in my opinion. It just blew my mind that she jumped out of nowhere and decided she wanted to be a mom all of a sudden when this all went down. That's my nobody has to agree with that, but that's how I feel. I'm sorry. Kayla Montgomery testified that her husband repeatedly punched, sorry guys, trigger warning, Harmony in the face and head because he was angry and she was having bathroom accidents in the car. This makes me sick. Every time I see this little girl's face, I want to hurt somebody. I really do. I hated this case. That's why I didn't cover it like widely and like everybody else did. I can't handle this one. Kayla Montgomery, in the appeal, the defense argues that there were credibility issues with Kayla Montgomery's testimony and that it shouldn't have been admitted. They argue that her story changed multiple times over the course of the investigation and that she had a history of dishonesty, and misplaced trust. The final point concerns body camera footage presented in the trial. The video showed an encounter between Adam and police officers on December 31st of 21. The judge did not admit the audio from the encounter. The defense argues that showing the video without the audio unfairly prejudiced the jury. Are you kidding me? Shut up. Sit down. You did what you did. Nothing that happened during that trial. Look, shit. Hold on 1 second. Sorry. All right, one of my kids, sorry. Having problems. Hello, Philip. Good to see you. My sister's your tech for today, and Brandy's there. Yeah, she's there still, too. Well, make sure they're taking good care of you, Philip. Tell them both I love them, my sister and my wife. I appreciate that very much. You jumping in here with us, so. Yeah, I can't even look at this little girl. Hold on a second. What is with my kids today? Jesus.
Grand Central Station. All aboard.
Good Lord, have mercy. Every one of them called me one back to back to back to back. I'm sorry, you guys. Yeah, I can't even look at her little face. I just want to hurt somebody every time I look at her. It's disgusting what happened with this. So, hold on.
Our heart attack was
scary. Never want to go through that again.
but we could.
With heart disease, you never know.
So we made changes.
Green juice,
Diet, exercise,
statins helped, but our LDL-C, bad cholesterol, it was stuck. Just couldn't lower it enough. And high LDL-C
It meant a real risk of another attack. So I said, let's ask our doctor about Repatha.
what can I say? Listen to your heart.
Repatha plus a statin dramatically lowers LDL-C by 63% and drops the risk of having a heart attack by 27%. Do not take Repatha if you're allergic to it.
Let me
Serious
skip
allergic
it.
Reactions can occur. Get medical help right away if you have trouble breathing or swallowing, swelling of the face, lips, tongue, throat, or arms. Common side effects include runny nose, sore throat, common cold symptoms, flu or flu-like symptoms, back pain, high blood sugar, and redness, pain, or bruising at the injection site.
We won't let
Are you kidding me?
attack set us back.
And neither should you.
Listen to your heart. Lower your LDL-C and your risk with Repatha. Talk to your doctor.
Darren, over in Saugus, more than 100 people joined the search for Harmony Montgomery. Volunteers, family, and friends began their weekend search along a Massachusetts march this morning. They're looking for the remains of the 5-year-old little girl who was murdered by her father in 2019. Harmony's mother, Crystal, organized the search. She says Harmony's father, Adam, drove through this area with a U-Haul truck. We heard about that during his trial. Crystal is holding on to hope.
There's 23 miles that he went back and forth from the Tobin Bridge all the way out to here. I want to be able to tell her brother Jameson, like, Mommy found her. I just want to be able to tell them that I never gave up and that I did what I could to bring her home.
In New Hampshire, Adam Montgomery was convicted of killing his daughter, sentenced to 56 years to life in prison. He has refused to say where Harmony's remains are. The search for Harmony will continue tomorrow.
I can't with this one. I just can't. He's beyond. He makes me sick. They all do. Everybody that touched her in her life in that family makes me nuts. Ugh. And I don't know why he won't give it up. Okay, I don't understand why he won't turn over where she's at. So moving on. There's some updates in a few cases we've had, as we all know. Everybody remembers the Riley Strain case. You hear, Mama Bear?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you, Miss Sherry. I'll pick you up. We could probably stop and grab Mama Bear as well. Probably Molly. We'll all head out together. Put our bail money together because we would need it. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel with that on. I'm right with you on that, Sherry. All right. Let's check this out here, guys. Riley Strain's case. We now have some new updates in this as well. And I knew this was coming. I don't blame it by any means whatsoever.
Now, for what's tipping the scales, the family of a college student who vanished and later was found dead during a trip to Nashville is now suing his fraternity over his death. Riley Strain attended the University of Missouri and traveled to Nashville last March with his Delta Chi brothers. On the evening of March the 8th, Strain was kicked out of Luke Bryan's bar for being too drunk. Security cameras caught him walking away, but then he disappeared. His family was desperate to find him.
It's just as hard on them as it is on us.
And right now, we really are focusing on
bringing Riley home.
his last point.
He's my best friend. He's everything.
Strain was found dead 2 weeks later in the Cumberland River. According to the medical examiner, his manner of death was drowning and intoxication. Or that was the cause of death, rather. The manner was accidental. Now, his family claims his death was a result of the carelessness and the negligence of the fraternity. So was Riley Strain's fraternity responsible in this case? I mean, these brothers are being sued and named as defendants. Is it right? Let's talk about it. I want to bring back in attorney Tommy Pope and private investigator
See, that makes me wonder if there's something else known that hasn't been put out there. I know that they were upset and said that they should have all stuck together. Somebody should have stayed with him while he was drinking like he was.
Right.
You know, but is it true? Can you legally hold somebody liable for what somebody else did? I'm curious, unless there's something else that's known that we don't know yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
Curious.
Well, Gomez. Okay, Tommy, do you think the family has a strong case here?
The first thing I did when we talked about it was I wanted to look and see whether Tennessee or even Missouri, according to whether the acts would have taken place, was contributory negligence versus comparative. For your viewers, if it was contributory negligence, in many places, 1% wrongdoing on my part prevents me from being successful in a suit. But it appears both places are some type of comparative. So the question's then going to become, he's of age, I assume, that, did he choose to do these things? And as long as there was other responsibilities, again, it's tough. I was reading something where they were saying he wasn't even wanting to go on the trip, and they kind of cajoled him to going. It's going to be interesting, and I think it's going to be extremely fact-based, whether there's anything that can ultimately stick or gets beyond a summary judgment, which is kind of like the direct verdict in our civil courts.
Mm-hmm. Right, Tommy. Yeah, appreciate those points. I know. I was somewhat surprised at this. I know we thought, there's a possibility they may try to sue someone, but naming brothers, the officers in the fraternity, these are his dear friends. He's also a 22-year-old. So there's that, to your point about at what point is there some personal responsibility? I mean, I think everyone is so sorry that happened to him. Nobody wanted to see him drown, and nobody wanted to see this family go through losing a child. But also, where's the line between, your own free will, and other people's actions around you? Manuel Gomez, I certainly want you to weigh in. As we know, many people at first thought this was a homicide. Somebody wanted to do this young man harm, and then it turns out he was just very drunk, sadly, and fell because of the steep grade in the river. And for anybody who's been in that area in Nashville, it's close to Broadway where those bars are. Your thoughts, please.
Well, Julie, I commend the family for filing the civil lawsuit against the fraternity, because unfortunately, this happens to our fraternities around the United States, where mass amounts of alcohol is introduced to numerous parties and all these fraternities. And this is something that happens all the time. Unfortunately, I hope that this case of this young man is an example for all the fraternities out there to follow, that they need to have accountability. I mean, that's the whole point of being in a fraternity, brotherhood. This shows there was no brotherhood. Nobody escorted him. Julie, when you see him coming down the staircase, it's a miracle this guy was able to make it to the bottom of the staircase. He's literally stumbling when he's walking.
I might be right, or I might be wrong on this, but I think some of the bylaws and stuff when you belong to a fraternity is like no brother left behind, this and that, when there's certain situations that they're supposed to stay together and kind of babysit each other, for lack of better terms. I mean, isn't that part of what that's about?
I don't know.
I swear I've heard
that
before. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that, because maybe that's what they're suing based on. And yeah, Mike, I thought about that too. Another reason I'm glad I stopped drinking 6.5 years ago, and I don't even miss it. There were chaperones. I thought there was more than one too, Tomboy. That's another question I had. I still have questions about this case all the way around, to be honest with you. You gonna say something, Bear?
No, I just said,
HMM.
Mm-hmm.
There was no brotherhood, and I do feel that this fraternity should be accountable because they were pushing the alcohol. Granted, he's 22 years of age, but you know what? We need to set an example nationwide. This is not acceptable.
Well, thank you for saying that. Yeah, it does make them an example, right? It does. Is there another way to go about it? Tommy Pope, I don't know if you can still hear me. Is your audio good? Okay, perfect. Just double checking. So would there be a better way to go about this, making policy changes for the fraternity rather than naming these young men as defendants in the civil action?
I get what you're saying, Damon. I mean, it kind of goes both ways. You can be torn on this. You're supposed to be able to be responsible for your own actions. I think the way they're looking at this is that they were forcing the alcohol on him. Here, take another shot, take another shot, take another shot. I mean, I get that, but I don't know. I'm torn on this myself. It is kind of crappy. I agree with you on that. Eddie says, you drink, you assume the risk. It comes with the territory. Amen to that one, brother. I know I did. Good Lord, I did. Yeah, that's my girl. Oh, gotcha.
Ironically, oftentimes when you file a civil suit, you're throwing as big a net as possible. We talked in one of the last segments about respondeat superior, looking at who may be above that would have quite candidly a deeper pocket. Because in civil, really financial is the only thing you recover. And so to me, it seems and again, maybe they did it just to throw the big net, but naming individual members versus maybe the entity, kind of back to a failure to train, failure to follow the rules. I think that they probably cast too broad a net in this particular circumstance.
Tommy, thank you for that. Manuel, tell me, how do you see this playing out?
Well, I agree with Tommy. I don't think that the brothers will be held accountable, but I do think the fraternity will be. And there's no doubt in my mind on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe the national office, wherever they're located, I believe it's I'm
going to guarantee that this fraternity, as most do, along with sororities, probably have really good legal teams. Okay. I mean, I would imagine. So this is probably going to be interesting to see how this goes. I hope they get what they deserve out of it, in my opinion. We'll see. All we can think is we'll see.
Delta Chi, I believe, is the fraternity. I guess we'll see what happens. We've got to leave it there for time's sake. We love having you both on this program. Manuel Gomez with Black Ops Private Investigators and attorney Tommy Pope and lawmaker as well. Thank you both so much for your time and your great expertise. We'll see you soon.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
Bye, Stormy. See you later.
All right, Stormy. Be careful out there. Have fun. Good luck. Good luck. Does everybody remember who Amanda Knox was? Anybody?
Amanda Knox. No.
She was the girl that got arrested over in Italy. And they kept her there for a long time. I got a bit of an update on her. Like I said, there's a lot of these updates on these older cases and cases we haven't really looked at in a while. Why does Ashley look weird in this? She got her hair up. That's why.
She looks like she's high.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, she does. Yeah, she was accused of murder in Italy. Good one, Tomboy. Absolutely. So this is interesting. I thought anybody that knows the case would be interested to hear about it if you haven't seen it. And here we go.
It's been almost 20 years since a young American student studying abroad was thrown into an Italian jail cell and accused of murdering her roommate. Almost immediately, Amanda Knox became a household name as the internet began to dissect her every look, her every move, arguably looking for all the things that made her look guilty. And it worked. Because between the internet and the flawed Italian prosecution, Amanda was convicted of that murder and she was jailed. And it would be another 4 years behind bars before they realized their mistake and righted that wrong. Amanda, let's be clear, was fully cleared of that murder, even though authorities tried to stick her with some minor technicalities.
Hey, Cammy.
And also,
well, hello, Miss Cammy Q. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're doing good today. Appreciate you being here. Wait, what? Just got an alert from our sheriff's office. Loose horse. Oh. You running rampant in Ohio, Walt? Is that what you're doing? Must be something. I don't know. That was great, SRB. I love it. That was awesome.
What? Cammy said, fun fact, Amanda Knox's mother was Cammy's son's teacher.
That's wild. That is wild.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, he must be. I believe that.
although that should have been the beginning of an effort to reclaim her good name and her life, it was instead the beginning of a whole other journey that she had no idea lay ahead. Battling the stigma, the haters, the naysayers, and the obstinate trolls who refuse to accept the truth that she's not guilty. Amanda took pen to paper, and she's written all about the roadblocks that she never expected in her new memoir, Free, My Search for Meaning. Sprinkled throughout the book, anecdotes of what happened to her in that Italian prison, and let's just say it ain't like America over there. Amanda Knox is an exoneree. She's a journalist.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now. Most of you probably know this, but you don't want to go to prison in another country. I'm telling you right now, it ain't nothing like it is here. It's like going to the fair here as compared to over there. It's no joke, and they don't like most other countries don't like Americans, and when they get them, they have fun with them. Good afternoon, Aurora. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you very much. Yes, I agree with that. It's wonderful to see your face around here again, Cammie.
Journalist, an advocate for media ethics and criminal justice, and she also co-hosts the podcast called Labyrinth. I spoke with Amanda just a few hours ago. This is your second memoir.
Yeah.
And this really focuses on some things I didn't think were going to happen.
Okay, yeah.
Being in the world of
Neither
crime,
did I.
right? I can imagine. In my line of work, those who have been through the criminal justice system and have been treated unfairly don't really want to go back to that pool and dabble and find out why. But you did. You went back to the prosecutor who put you away, asking questions. Yeah. Tell me, A, why, and B, what'd you ask?
Great question. And you're right. Everyone that I talked to in the lead up to doing this and making this decision, in the innocence community, my friends who are lawyers, my friends who are exonerees, my own family, everyone thought I was crazy. Everyone thought that I had a weird fixation on this, I had Stockholm syndrome maybe, like I was clearly interested in this human being who had hurt me. And there was some understanding on the part of the exonerees that I talked to because they want to understand why this had happened to them. But they all told me it's a losing game. Your prosecutor is never going to see you as a person. He's never going to admit that he's wrong. And you're just wasting your time. And I was afraid of that. Like a part of me first reached out to him because I wanted to get in touch with him outside of an adversarial system where, as you know, like the courtroom can be a lot like politics where there are two sides and ne'er shall the two meet on any issue. And I felt like that sort of conflict made it impossible for him to see me as a human being. And as someone who was living with the consequences of being the girl accused of murder, the stigma of that, trying to make sense of that in my own life, the first question I was asking myself was why? Why is this my life? And I couldn't think of anyone better to ask that than the man who made this my life.
Your life.
And so I originally reached out to him, and I'll be honest, like I reached out to him hoping that if I could show him who I really was, he would recognize that I was not the person that he thought he was prosecuting, that he was wrong. And then the pandemic happened, and this meeting that I thought we were going to have immediately after I asked him didn't take place because the world was imploding. And so we spent 2 years corresponding before we ever met in person. And those 2 years were filled with frustrating conversations about the case, but they were also filled with just personal revelations. A shared love of animals, a shared love of classical music, a shared love of Lord of the Rings. He was stunned, and very quickly had a shift in perspective about who I was because I had reached out to him. It was just unheard of. And he was even unsure of whether it was even legal for him to communicate with me. Yes, because it had never been done before. And so he looked into case law to see if it was even allowed for him.
Because he's putting things in writing.
Yes, exactly. And he was thinking, I don't know if this is even allowed, but there's no law because no one has ever tried it. And so he agreed to correspond with me after I made a very public statement, sort of claiming that he wasn't an evil monster. And he felt sort of honor bound to respond to me. And he was deeply moved by the fact that I genuinely wanted to know him as a human being because he never really had been interested to know me as a human being.
But did something change? Did you get the apology? Did you get any kind of satisfaction from how your repartee went?
So there's this little metaphor that I'm using to describe what it was that I attained from this conversation, this prolonged conversation, and then this meeting, because this meeting took place in person after the 2 years that we corresponded.
In Perugia.
In Perugia. I went back to Italy. I went back to Perugia, and I sat down face to face. I had not seen and been in a room with this man since the courtroom. So here was this man that I had not encountered outside of this legal environment, sitting across from me, wearing a fishing vest, looking like anybody's grandpa. And we sat across from each other. He held my hand and he listened to what I had to say first. I told him that I was innocent, that he was wrong about me, and, proceeded to make the case, not letting him off the hook for how he had harmed me, but then, showing up and letting him know that I did not think he was a monster. And in fact, I cared about him and I wished him well because I had over the course of 2 years gotten to know him as the complex,
this is a bit
flawed,
strange,
but ultimately precious human being that he was.
Did that disarm him enough to reciprocate and say, I'm sorry?
So he did not say, I'm sorry. He did not say, I was wrong. He did say, you are not the person that I thought I was prosecuting. And that if I were asked to prosecute this case again today, I would not.
Wow. You write about some of the experiences with the prison guards.
Yeah.
And the reason why you cut your hair off short and why you wore baggy, dingy clothing.
Yes.
It's very upsetting to
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but explain some of the things that happened from those guards and how far it went.
Yeah. So I was the famous one in the prison. I was one of the youngest prisoners. I was also one of the few prisoners that had all of my teeth. I was a cute little kid.
Trigger warning. Content may include sensitive or violent content not suitable for all viewers. Feel free to step out if needed.
I'm not 100% about what she's about to say, but I have an idea. So just in case, because it could trigger somebody, I'm going to throw that up there.
And I was also being highly sexualized in the media as this like whore who would go with anybody. And so I think some male guards got the idea that if they could just find themselves alone in a room with me, they could take advantage of that. And so two things come to mind. One is that the vice comandante, the second in command in the prison, for something like 2 weeks was bringing me into a private office alone in the first weeks of my being in prison, and was asking me about my sex life. And it was just like, he wanted to know what kind of underwear I like to wear, what kind of positions I liked to be in, if I would like to have sex with him. And I like in that moment, I froze. I didn't really know what to do. I pretended that I didn't understand him. He would get frustrated or bored and then send me back, but he would keep bringing me back in. Another occasion was I was in my cell and the plumbing stopped working in our cell, so they had to bring in some plumbers, and the guard was supervising the plumbers in the cell, and then they left. But I was in the bathroom sort of showing them that, you know, it wasn't going down the drain. And as soon as the plumbers left, he grabbed me around the waist, pulled me into him, and like swooped in to try to kiss me. And I don't even remember like how I didn't feel like I had the presence of mind. I felt like I was in slow motion and kind of underwater, and I just like swooped underneath him, like dodging his face, and like pirouetted out of his arms, and then went back onto my bed and like waited for a female guard to come by, and I just sat there.
Terrified.
I didn't move. I just sat there and just stared at the bed until he left. Because what was I going to do?
Did it ever go beyond that?
No, I mean, I was, you know, stripped naked and
I don't really actually know, Mark, that they ever found anybody else. I can't remember. It's been so long. And I didn't follow this one quite as closely. I mean, I knew, but I didn't know, if that makes any sense.
and photographed, but that was part of my process. That was part of the process. And I was routinely stripped naked in order to visit, like anytime I wanted to visit my family members. So like this whole process of prison, I don't know if you know, is like utterly degrading. It's very dehumanizing.
You lose everything. You lose everything. Your rights, everything.
Absolutely. And so like I had to, once I was immersed in that environment, I had to, well, at first I felt like I was living somebody else's life by mistake. And so my family and I had this like metaphor of where there's a light at the end of the tunnel and we just have to like hold on and get through until we get to the end of the tunnel. But then when the verdict came in and I was facing a 26-year sentence, I no longer felt like there was any light and that the truth mattered and that I would ever be vindicated. And so I reframed my experience to be like, okay, how do I make this worth living?
When there's a media circus, and I mean, you name it, Jodi Arias, Casey Anthony, whether it was the Foxy Noxy headline, now we have Idaho. And I saw something developing in Idaho I just could not believe. And that was the quadruple murder of these 4 students in Idaho and the 2 surviving roommates. Suddenly the internet decided to attack the 2 surviving roommates, to suggest that they had something to do with it. And I wondered what your thoughts are about that kind of a dynamic that's now playing out.
Right. That if somebody's like, there's a sort of survivor's guilt by proxy, where if you have survived a crime, that must mean that you must be involved with it, because how otherwise you might have you survived it. You know, that I find that deeply, deeply troubling, that like, not only have they been utterly victimized by this experience, but now
So they prosecuted their friend and his DNA was found on her bra. Okay. Gotcha. So I don't remember. I must have stopped following it super closely then. Something else must have been going on in my life that I wasn't that interested. Welcome, Michelle. Good to see you today. Thank you for joining us. And thank you, Tomboy. I appreciate the info.
they're being suspected merely because they are they're in the play, they are victims of the crime. They're physically present. Like, that's insane. And it's very similar to my case where, like, I lived in that house. That's what the prosecution could prove. But they immediately latched onto this idea that it was a conspiracy, that it wasn't the break-in that it seemed, and therefore the...
Welcome, Leslie and Billy. Wonderful to see you as always. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, SRB.
roommate has to be involved.
RC3, welcome to you as well. Good to see you. Sorry, everybody.
Do you have advice for these two young women who...
Welcome to you too, Cap. Everybody popping in. Kim Young, hello. Everybody that's jumping in here, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you all so very much for joining us here on the morning show today. It is very much appreciated, guys. Hang around today, guys, because we got another show after this one where we're going to be jumping back in to finish up what we've been looking at in the Idaho stuff yesterday. Rudy Guade was his name. Thank you again, Tomboy. And CJ Sky's in the house. Welcome back. Good to see you.
Who are in this world, that they're trolled endlessly. They have to go through a trial. They have to testify. And they're traumatized by the hell they've been through.
Well, first of all, are they actually being accused by the
Just
detectives?
the internet trolls.
Just the internet trolls.
Yeah.
Okay, so as long as
Little
they don't need to lawyer up necessarily. What I would say is, and this is going to be hard for them, but do not take it personally, because whatever people are projecting onto you, they're projecting onto an idea of you that doesn't exist, that says way more about them than it does about you. Protect yourself. And you know what? Like, you don't have to engage with the online. It really doesn't matter. It isn't a part of who you are. It is in the sense that, like, our reputation matters because it allows.
Yeah, I didn't know if anybody else noticed that. I figured Eddie would catch that. She's definitely gaslighting. That's sad. And again, with this situation, this is completely different than what Amanda's case was. They're being questioned because of mistakes. I call them mistakes they made and decisions that they made that they shouldn't have, or for lack thereof. That's a whole different story than what she went through, in my opinion. So there's no comparison. Kim just said the same thing. How can she compare herself to them? She was not in the house, texting, calling people on social media, not calling 911 for hours. Thank you, Kim. Very good point. Amen. And like, again, it's not like the Idaho girls escaped the tragedy. They were looking at Instagram, TikTok, and checking their jobs. Yes. Yes, she does. Yes, she does, Mike. I agree. I'm not a fan. Not even close. Agreed, SRB. So this is ridiculous.
Allows us. It's like a bank account. It's how we can navigate the world. Who I am is, and in the eyes of another human being, will impact the way that I can relate to that human being. However, the trolls, you know, I had yet to encounter an actual troll in my human life. I only encounter them online, and
The bravery.
I know, right?
The bravery of it.
Right. And I mean, you know, but
This woman was wrongfully accused of a crime she didn't commit. This is completely different than what these other two have been through and or are going through. Completely different. Yeah, Mikey, I'm not going there.
But there are people out there who will threaten your life, and so you don't know, so you have to live in a constant state of paranoia. Obviously, like, keep track of that. Get yourself a victim support person. Go to the FBI and have them track it. Like, all of that. I had to go to the
Good
FBI
point,
and do that when
Elisa.
somebody was sending me very, very explicit death threats, and they went and knocked on his door and were like, hey, I guess you have freedom of speech, but you might want to knock it off because we're paying attention to you. Like, be safe, but do
And yes,
not
she does.
take it personally.
My thanks to Amanda Knox, and you're going to hear a lot more of my interview with her tomorrow night on this program.
All right, so there's that. I don't know 100% Cap. I think she was young. She was like very, very young when she was there back then. So she's probably going on her 40s now, if not in her 40s. Just thinking. I'll have to catch up with it and figure it out out of curiosity. Another one that I've been following too. I don't know, you guys. Has anybody followed the Kamani Latigue's case? Anybody at all? If you haven't, this will explain it to you. But it is a little girl that went missing, so on and so forth. And I believe the father is the one that they're looking at for. She's 38. Thank you, Tomboy. For abducting her, per se. So we shall see. But this is an update with that as well. For those of you that haven't followed this, we'll catch you up. And if those of you have, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. And look who we got here. Dagburn, Johnny Gobble's Dead Floozy Mama's in the house. Welcome back. And thank you for being here. I do appreciate you very much. For nothing less than allowing me to say your name. It's awesome. Love it, love it. Yes, Miss Sherry said she's on her channel, I would imagine. That's awesome, Miss Sherry. Again, if we could drop Miss Sherry's link in here, guys, and Mikey's again, to make sure that everybody is able to see those channels. And please subscribe if you have not yet. They do amazing things. Miss Sherry definitely does, with the missing and the indigenous. And Mikey is putting out some amazing stuff as well, guys. So they're both channels you guys are going to want to check out. Please and thank you. All right, y'all. Let's see what we got here.
My daughter, there's no reason my daughter would ever be over here.
Today make a week she's been gone. And this is not right. We just want to get her home.
Praying for the best, but of course, always prepare for the worst.
That was the family of 13-year-old Kamani Latigue. She's been missing for several days now. Earlier today, Toledo police discovered a body inside of a home on Miami Street in East Toledo. Police have yet to confirm it was her body, but according to the girl's grandmother, Kamani Latigue's body was found. Jeff?
As we continue to track this story throughout the day, WTOL 11 has also learned that the father of Kamani has been charged. His name is Darnell Jones. An arrest warrant has been issued for his arrest. Tonight, we have got live team coverage on this breaking news story. Silver Barker and Michael Sandlin have been looking into this story all day long. Silver joins us live from the home on Miami Street where that body was found. And Michael is looking into the case surrounding Kamani's dad. But we'll get to Silver first. Silver?
Yeah, well, Jeff, right here on Miami Street, there were a lot of people here earlier today trying to figure out what is happening as they were hearing the news that we were hearing of a body being found in this home. By the way, we know it's burned, but however, police tell us that it was burned before the body was found there, or it was before this incident. We were here as well, of course, here on the scene earlier today, waiting for information. We're still waiting for some information now. Now, while we have not been able to confirm with police whether this was Kamani's body, it was taken out of the house and sent to the coroners. Kamani's mother, Tiara Caston, who was here on the scene, also was either shown something by police or had a conversation, which we believe was to confirm whether the body was her daughter's. Moments after the conversation or whatever was shown from police, we then see Caston drop to her knees crying. But as mentioned earlier, we have not been able to confirm whether this was Kamani they found. We spoke to a cousin of Kamani's prior to police finding the body, and she tells us this.
I don't want to go to assumptions, but at this point, I feel like we're looking for a body and not a teenage little girl anymore.
Now, we do know that this is still an ongoing investigation, so there are more parts we're waiting to figure out and find out, which of course we will keep you guys updated as we learn more. Reporting live in East Toledo, Silver Barker, WTOL 11.
Our team coverage continues. The one person wanted for Kamani's abduction is her father, Darnell Jones. And according to police records, he was last seen taking Kamani from her guardian's home without consent, possibly making him the last person to have seen her alive. Michael Sandlin, he's got more on the charges surrounding Jones, his background as well. Michael, how is Kamani's family reacting to the news of Jones's possible involvement?
Jeff, we caught up with Kamani's grandmother, Dorothy Latigue, and she says the feeling right now is betrayal. Now, we did some digging into Jones's past, and he does have quite the record. Now, looking back, we can see that he had previous charges for domestic violence, specifically an endangering children charge back in 2021. However, those charges were dismissed. He also had a felonious assault charge from 2017 that resulted in the victim being seriously harmed, and he was indicted on that one. Kamani's grandmother says this feels like a betrayal because despite his record, she truly thought Jones had stepped up to be a father for her, despite not even being her biological dad.
It was told to me that he was her biological father. However,
her biological mother has told me on several occasions that he is not. So I don't know what to believe, but I know that he was present. He's been more present than the biological mom. And I feel deceived. Like, you played for so long in my face, like you was her dad, like you really had her best interests at heart. But where is she?
However, it's very important to note that we caught up with Kamani's mother earlier today, and she says that the grandmother is telling a completely different story from the truth. So we're going to continue digging into the details, and we'll bring you the latest as soon as we can. But for now, reporting in downtown Toledo, I'm Michael Sandlin for WTOL 11.
We continue to track the latest in this story. As more information comes out, we'll make sure to keep you updated on air and online at WTOL.com.
And to look back on past stories we've done with the family, you can stream whenever you want on your TV with WTOL 11 Plus.
Sorry about that, guys. My mouse was stuck. Welcome back, Mama Burr. All right.
Thank you.
Jump out of this. Get some other. I don't know if anybody followed that case. It's very sad. Especially that the father. With the father being involved and being responsible, that really bothers me. Just saying. Okay, hold on here. Some other stuff here. One moment. Yeah. So something else. This pissed me off to no end. No end. Another case I'm real hot with. And another person that I would love to be left alone in a room with for a few minutes. Miss Nancy covered this. Here we go. Bit of an update in the Madelin Soto case, guys.
Breaking news tonight, a murder suspect now claiming he has PTSD.
How about that? How about that? This piece of shit thinks he can claim. You don't have the right to say anything, in my opinion, but you ask how I know of Toledo. Well, I spent a week there one day. Sorry, couldn't. It's okay, but I know this one's rough, guys. It is. It sucks in a bad way. That anything that this piece of garbage says, and the only reason why I watch this is because I want to make sure that he's not getting away with anything. It's going to drive me nuts thinking that he would be.
Post-traumatic stress syndrome after he finds Maddie Soto. He finds her already ice cold with blue lips. This revealed in a stunning secret jailhouse recorded call. He's also whining about his mattress and his food. And we learn as he's whining to mommy and daddy on the phone, he actually blames Maddie's mother, Jen Soto, for her daughter's sex abuse and murder. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us.
I think they do just to mess with me, honestly. This place is filthy and unsanitary. One little thin, scratchy wool blanket, surrounded by crazies all the time. Well, it's not the Ritz.
Not the Ritz. You're charged with murder, Stefan Sterns, the murder of a girl. Hello. I know you're watching the Jailhouse TV on your phone. According to police, thousands of images of Maddie Soto were found, naked, being, and more. Okay, that's you. And now you're complaining about your mattress?
Trigger warning. Content may include sensitive or violent content not suitable for all viewers. Feel free to step out if needed.
This piece of garbage doesn't have the right to complain about anything. I don't care. I know I believe in innocent till proven guilty, this, that, and everything else. There's no way in hell. I mean, there's video proof of what he did, so there's that. And everybody knows what happened. That you don't have the right to breathe oxygen, as far as I'm concerned, let alone complain about something. I'm sorry. This guy drives me nuts.
Give the jail a 1-star review on Yelp. What are you thinking? The stories are changing, and all I can say is thank you, heaven, for technology, or I would never be able to hear what Stefan Sterns is claiming. For instance, that his girlfriend, Jen Soto, she's the one to blame for little Maddie's and sex abuse and so much more. And he's now saying, wait for it, that he found Maddie's body ice cold, her lips blue. Listen.
Just seeing her pale face and blue lips and how ice cold she was, and it's crazy.
That's going to stay with you. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I remember seeing my brother when he had passed away, and that's the last thing I remember seeing of him. And so.
Yeah, it's just, you can tell.
Yes, you can. My dad, yeah.
It's just, when they're gone, really, really, truly gone, there's nothing you can do. There's no coming back.
Yeah.
Well, you could get the death penalty. You could do that. But whoa. Okay. With me in All-Star Panel to make sense of what I'm hearing. And I've got a ton of these jailhouse calls. I don't know if I can even get through them all because each one is a bombshell. This is going to be hard, but Joe Scott Morgan, professor of forensics, I'll give him the whole intro in a moment. But just one word, what was this girl's COD, cause of death? One word.
Yeah, it was strangulation, Nancy, up close and personal with his hands wrapped around her neck.
Shannon Butler joining me, investigative reporter, WFTV Channel 9 in this jurisdiction in Florida. Shannon, there's so much in these jailhouse calls, and I cannot wait for them to be played in front of a jury, from giving the jailhouse a 1-star review on Yelp for their food and mattress, whining about the lights. It goes on and on, blaming Jen Soto, Maddie's mother, for her sex abuse and murder. But now, and I find more probative, Shannon, he's giving more stories about how Maddie was killed. And the reason I went to Joe Scott Morgan, for Pete's sake, he's a death investigator, 1,000 cases under his belt, is because you hear him on the jailhouse call stating that when you find them that way, that's really going to stay with you. When you find them that way. And the mom and dad compare Maddie's murder to an elderly uncle or brother.
There's no way this stupid ass is going to get anybody to believe that he found her that way. If that's the case, then why didn't you call 911?
Bingo.
Because you know what you did. You know you didn't. You know what you did, and you know you didn't find her. You know you're lying. You're trying to get your parents to feel think you're not a bad person, blah, blah, blah. He's saying things on the recordings on purpose, in my opinion. He's a complete, total piece of trash. And he's stupid, thinking anybody's going to believe this.
Passing away, what, from old age? Maddie was strangled dead, likely after being. What is this guy thinking?
Well, and according to him, he knew that, right? Because he also says on these calls that he had seen her autopsy. What he could not explain, even to his parents when they tried to ask some questions, was what happened between 11 p.m. when she supposedly
Hey, Josie, good to see you, dear.
Bedroom, and what happened at dawn, where he now says he found her. So the parents kind of asked, well, what happened? He's like, I don't know. I just came back in the room. I can't sleep at night. So she started with me in the room. Then I got up and walked around the house because, I can never sleep. And when I came back, that's how I found her. Could not explain all of those hours before he now says he found her body, which is a story, by the way, that we had never heard. We've heard a few stories from him, but this was the first time we heard that.
To Shannon Butler joining us, investigative reporter, WFTV, I am beside myself. Not only that little girl died in her own home with her mom snoring away in the next room or a few rooms over, but could you just give everyone a refresher, a nutshell, a cliff note on what was found on Sterns' own cell phone after he tried to wipe it of all its information?
Oh, horrifying images of abusing Madelin Soto since she was 8, 9, 10 years old. That's the videos that they found on his phone. He tried to get rid of them. He didn't. That was, obviously immediate red flag for law enforcement. And now to say, I didn't have anything to do with any of this. She slept with me. None of this, happened. I left. And, I guess he must have forgotten that they had lots and lots of video of what happens in the evening.
It's amazing to me, and I'm going to play in just a moment, how his mom totally enabling him, saying, this was forced on you. You were set up. and actually telling him, yeah, you have PTSD because you found her body. Okay, to Philip Dubé joining me. Philip, we're not in court. Okay, you don't have to impress a high-paying client, so don't throw any Latin phrases at me. Let's not make anything up, just spin it out of whole cloth. What kind of a sick freak not only repeatedly a child over and over, but films it?
One who engages in what I call virtual porn. That would be the defense, because they have to prove, according to a case from the U.S. Supreme Court dating back to 2002 called Ashcroft, that it is a live person. You're looking at me like I'm nuts, but that is a valid First Amendment defense. How are they going to lay a foundation?
Whoa, wait. Jackie, I need a nitroglycerin pill, and I need it right now. Okay. First Amendment, right to free speech.
I don't know if you guys caught that. That makes me absolutely disgusted right now. That's an actual defense, that they have to prove that the person is alive. Are you kidding me? I've never heard of that in my life. And if they try to use that, oh, for God's sakes, no way. Petco must have had a grooming spa day. Nancy got her for Phil. Hello, Phil, and welcome. Thank you for joining us. There you go, Mark.
Correct. Political, cultural.
That may work in California,
yes.
but I guarantee you it's not going to work in Florida. Did you just say virtual porn could be a defense?
That's correct.
To murder?
Well, to the sex crimes.
Why did I open Pandora's box and ask him a question? Never mind. Erase. Let's go back to the jailhouse calls. Guys, while Dubé stews in his own juices, coming up with a zany defense of virtual porn, let's listen to more of Stefan Sterns' jailhouse calls. Now, in this one, he is blaming Jen Soto, Maddie's mom, and yes, there's a lot to be said about her, but how can you blame her for Maddie's and murder? But just listen.
You know, Stefan, I can't help but get the feeling that none of this that was on the phone was a surprise to you.
She was aware that she had certain feelings towards me.
Yeah. Well, then why was she considering to sleep with you?
She used to.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
That was on the phone was a surprise to you.
She was aware that she had certain feelings towards me.
Yeah. Well, then why was she considering to sleep with you?
She used to joke about it, call it an electric complex. He used to joke and say, you better not leave me for my daughter when she's older, things like that.
Are you fucking kidding me? Excuse my language, but I'm not sorry. What in the actual hell is this piece of garbage saying? And his parents, I'm sorry, but I think his parents need to be charged right along with him. I really do. Yeah, bombshell. I agree.
Laugh about it, and they used to both ogle over me and comment on me and talk about me together and giggle and talk about how nice I looked, and it was not an appropriate situation.
Like murder is? Okay, wait. I can hardly piece this apart. Shannon Butler, help me. I got to bring in a shrink also to explain what is an electric complex, but I'm not a shrink. Neither of you. You give me the facts. Did you hear what he just says? The mom says basically Jen Soto set you up, that she was, quote, aware of Maddie's feelings about me. And the mom, this Deborah Sterns, well, then why would she send her in there to sleep with you? Like, what? Like it's Jen's fault? And I'm certainly not defending the mother. He says she used to joke about it, call it Electra, and warn me I could never leave her for her daughter. What is he talking about, Shannon?
Well, remember, there's all these conversations about how Jen always thought this was kind of a Woody Allen situation and that could happen. So it was very clear that Jen Soto had some indication that something was just not right in this relationship. But for whatever reason, that did not change her letting, Madelin Soto sleep with him, sleep with both of them. It is so bizarre to me. And this is what, at least here in Orlando, all the viewers get so upset over this. When they hear stuff
Josie,
like that,
amen.
I immediately believe that Jen Soto had to have known something and that nothing's happened in that case, right? She is not charged with anything. And people.
Yes, I do. In many different ways I can explain to you, in my opinion, critical. Many different things that she did that put her in the middle of this, that many things that she didn't do that this could have been avoided by. Okay, so yes, she is absolutely complicit with this, in my opinion.
People just can't understand how a mother would joke about anything like that. And even when you listen to the parents,
Wait, Shannon.
Did you say something, Bear? No, that was her. Sorry.
Shannon, hold on. You're jumping on the bandwagon. And yes, I've got huge problems with Jen Soto. Huge. Sending her daughter off to sleep, and this was much younger than 14, alone with her live-in boyfriend. But Jen Soto, may have been wrong. Well, forget it. She was wrong. That's a whole nother can of worms. Maybe they haven't charged her because they want her testimony. I don't know what they're doing. And of course, she hasn't been charged. She's innocent until proven guilty. I'm talking about the murder. Tom Smith is joining me, former NYPD detective. I'm beside myself. Guys, if you want to find Tom Smith, he is co-host of the Gold Shield Show at goldshieldShow.com. Why? I've got a dead girl body dumped. Video has emerged of what we believe is Stefan Sterns dumping her limp body. Another bombshell tonight is that decomp, enzymes from decomp, are found on the front seat of the car where Stefan Sterns, had Maddie buckled in like they're riding to school. She decomped onto the front seat. Yeah, explain that, Sterns. How are you going to blame Jen Soto for that? And listen, Tom Smith, I'm not defending Jen Soto. I'm talking about the murder and Stefan Sterns blaming her. I mean, it's always like this. It's always this, pointing the finger at somebody else.
Right. This is a monster. Bottom line, end of discussion, where he took the life of this young girl and just blames everybody else for his actions. He's very well aware of what he did and how he did it, but tends to, let's deflect to this and that. I mean, he is a flat out monster. And the other part of this, like you said, this girl was surrounded by people that enabled him to do this. And she was the poor victim in this case. Mom, this guy's parents all have.
Every single person that is in this is involved failed this child. His parents, of course, him, her mother, her parents, in my opinion, except for, in my opinion, her father, because he was not allowed to be involved based on what, we've learned from the way Jen acted about this. So, and that's my opinion. What's up, Mountain Man? Good to see you, brother. Thank you for joining us. That would make some, that'd be worth it. I agree with you on that, bub.
Having an understanding of what was going on and let it happen, and inevitably just took her life.
Philip Dubé, veteran trial lawyer out of LA County. Don't you just love when you find out what your client's really thinking on jailhouse calls? It's not like they don't know they're being recorded. Every 30 seconds or so, there's a recording that states you were on a jail line. Everybody knows what's happening, but yet they still blab.
Yeah, I don't know where that whole phenomenon comes from, except to say that they think that if they change their original story into multiple iterations of how it could have gone down, that they're saving their hide. But the truth is they're creating multiple inconsistencies, and it points toward guilt. I tell every client, the initial consult, don't talk to anybody. Don't talk on the phone about your case. If you have to, just talk about the weather, talk about your favorite holiday, talk about.
Honestly, you guys, and I think he's doing it on purpose, in my opinion, because he knows he's recorded. He's stupid, but he's not dumb, if that makes any sense to you. He's doing this on purpose to get that recorded on the line so they can hear him stating all these things with his mom and dad. It was probably his daddy's idea to do this. His dad is a retired police officer and knows the laws and how things work, so on and so forth, even if he don't. And they're probably telling him to do stuff like this, okay? The fact that they're supporting anything with him is a joke to me. He did what he did. You created that monster, in my opinion. You knew who he was when he was a kid. They've already stated about how he used to be this and everything else. They could have prevented this, but they didn't. And then, like I said, in my opinion, I feel like they should be charged as well. That's just my opinion. Nobody has to agree, as always, but it is what it is. This is just stupid. He's doing it on purpose, trying to set a narrative so that they can have something to go with this. It's stupid to me.
How much you miss everybody, but don't get into the facts of your case. Otherwise, you know what happens? I get a terabyte of data on an external hard drive that I got to listen to from the DA's office and then have to sit out and lock up and play for the client. And what does it really amount to? Additional inculpatory evidence.
Hi, guys. Nancy Grace here. There is a growing crime trend the FBI calls house stealing. Criminals forge your signature, they use a fake notary stamp, and bam, your home title is gone. Then the criminal takes out loans on your home or even sell your home without you knowing.
Ice cold and just
Get there.
Well, I discovered her in the state that she was in after everything was said and done. So I seen her pale face and blue lips and how ice cold she was. That ice cold and just.
Philip Dubé, why didn't he call 911 if he just found her, quote, ice cold with blue lips? Why did he think it was a better idea to dress her up in school clothes and strap her dead body into his car and drive around like he was taking her to school, and then throw away her laptop and her backpack and throw her body in a densely wooded area when he could have just called 911? Thoughts?
The only arguments that he can avail himself to is that he was trying to protect the mother, that there, believe it or not, there was still some type of feelings toward the mother, and he didn't want her to get into trouble. And certainly he did not want to be accused of doing anything to the child. So what do? The first thing that comes to mind is you ditch the evidence, if you will. And in this particular case, it happens to be the remains of this child. And he was in panic mode. And what do you do in panic mode? You don't think things through. You do things sort of off the cuff, like an amateur. And he got caught.
Okay, wait. So hold on. Are you actually going along with his theory, Philip Dubé, that he found Maddie dead?
No, not in the least. But if I had to defend him, that would be the argument. Believe me, this man would not want me on his jury. But I'm just saying that if I were commissioned by the court to defend him, I would argue to the jury that he had no hand in her death, had nothing to do with it, and point the finger to a third-party culprit. And who would be the easy dupe in this case? The mother.
Okay, you would actually say that to a jury even though you believe it's a lie?
There is no room for political correctness in a criminal trial. If you're going to worry about what the public, what the court...
I'm not asking what the public thinks. I'm asking you, could you argue that to a straight face with to a jury when you believe in your heart he did it?
Of course. Look, my beliefs, my personal judgment do not shade or color how I defend a client. All I need to know is that my theories are supported by sufficient evidence. If they are supported, I think it would be legal malpractice not to present it on the client's behalf and leave it in the hands of a jury to decide what, if anything, to do with it. But to just leave it, I could see an appellate attorney all over it on appeal, especially if he's condemned for murder.
Guys, we're talking about Stefan Sterns' secret jailhouse calls just revealed. Now, here he seems to blame Maddie's murder on lack of boundaries and poor, quote, sleeping arrangements. Listen.
You know, always had an issue with boundaries. She never respected any boundaries that I tried to set. You know, we got in arguments on more than one occasion about the sleeping arrangements. So I, would beg her, please make her go sleep in her own room. And she said, well, no, it's easier this way for me to wake her up when she's near me. And
hold on. Joe Scott Morgan, help me. Joe Scott Morgan is joining me.
Okay, hold on a minute here. Even if that was true, which I don't believe that it is, once again, he's throwing all the blame he can everywhere but on himself. Even if that was true, I almost wonder if that was what he stated, if that was true, is there a way for her to be charged for something for doing that? I wonder. Because if there was, I imagine she would have been, okay? But no, I don't believe that's true. I don't believe that's true at all. And here's the thing. You're a grown man. You have the ability to say, no. You can stop these things from happening. You didn't. So that's why I believe this is all lies. So
Professor of Forensics, Jacksonville State University, author of Blood Beneath My Feet on Amazon, star of a hit podcast series, Body Bags with Joseph Scott Morgan. It goes on and on. Joe Scott, do you hear this? I don't know how.
Oh, yeah. For that, anybody that was curious about that, thank you, Miss Sherry. She was given partial immunity in a special circumstance, is what it was, of what I read, based on what her statements were. If they find that she lied in any way, shape, or form, that immunity is out the window, and she can be charged at that point then. And I'm praying to God that they catch her in that. I really do.
Many child murder cases you have dealt with, but Stefan Sterns,
exactly,
in Madelin Soto's murder, says, I beg the mom, make her sleep in her own room. And so
it's beyond bizarre when you begin to think about this, and over and over and over again. The thing about it is, from an evidentiary standpoint, this guy has literally documented his steps up to the gallows when you begin to think about this over all of these years relative to these horrible images that have been recovered. And then we have to get to this point where he is finding her cold, her lips are blue, these sorts of things. I'll tell you why her lips are blue. Because if in fact we are to believe, and I do, what the medical examiner said, that this is an asphyxial death vis-a-vis strangulation, that means that she would have become cyanotic as hands, perhaps his, were wrapped around her throat and squeezed the life out of her. So her lips are in fact going to turn blue. It's not just as a result of decompositional changes. You have this that's going on, and we still don't know everything relative to the autopsy report. One of the things that they're thinking about, and they have expressed concern, and I use that term in quotes, is the hyoid bone. There's something that they're seeing with the hyoid bone. And Nancy, as you well know, generally the only way that a hyoid bone becomes fractured is by applying direct pressure, generally through manual strangulation.
Joe Scott, whenever anyone says hyoid bone, I feel it's important that we show where the hyoid is, if you could.
It's the only non-articulating bone in the body. That means it doesn't connect to any other bony structures. Its sole purpose, Nancy, is to anchor the tongue in the back of the neck or in the back of the throat. So it's right in this, and it's kind of, we describe it in forensic pathology as being bird shaped, all right, but it's kind of in a horseshoe shape, and it anchors the tongue in the back of the throat.
I think it looks like a wishbone.
It kind of does, only without the little stem on it, okay? But it looks more like
it's not really attached to any bones. It's not like the hip bone connected to the leg bone. It's not connected, it's just hanging there.
Yeah, it is. And it's got two horns, two major horns and lesser horns that are up here. And when it's snapped, you can see these little fracture lines, and there'll be focal areas of hemorrhage in there as well. They're seeing something there, Nancy. This is repeated over and over again relative to the hyoid bone. They have concern about it. That means direct pressure would have had to have been applied in order to fracture this thing. And that means coming in with a C-clamp or throttling, this sort of thing, in order to choke the life out of this child.
So, guys, with what Joe Scott said, all correct, I might add, from what we've been able to glean from word about the autopsy report. What is Stefan Sterns' response? He says, no one respected my boundaries. And then he blames the whole thing because Jen Soto didn't give him any privacy. You have got to hear this.
We didn't have any privacy, and just didn't have any space to ourselves. And she suggests, well, maybe you should go sleep in bed instead. And it's like, it's like a twin bed, and I'm 6+ feet, and no. Why would I want to do that instead of sleeping in our king size bed? I should have broken up with her a long time ago and just distanced myself.
Oh hell yeah! Oh hell yeah!
Please join us on our mission to find missing people, especially children, to solve unsolved homicides. If you're on the go, catch us on your favorite podcast app where you can get all of our content where we, in our own way, seek justice.
I think they do just a mess, let's be honest with you. This place is filthy and unsanitary, and one little thin, scratchy wool blanket, surrounded by crazies all the time.
Well, it's not the risk.
We were all very happy to be reunited. It had been months since we'd all seen each other, and there's no reason that I would have given all of that up for literally no reason to hurt her and trade it all in for this.
No, there isn't. But there's jealousy on the other side too. I mean, if she told you, I hope you don't leave me for my daughter, that tells me that she was thinking about that for a while.
Guys, we are getting a treasure trove of evidence just released. These are secretly recorded jailhouse calls. Now, I don't know how secret they are because typically in jailhouse calls, you hear on the line, the caller and the receiver of the call can hear a recording stating that this is a call from a CI Correctional Institute. Everybody knows they're recorded. I guess they think the prosecutors just won't make the effort to listen to them. Well, guess what? They did. Joining me now, special guest Barry Hutchinson, 26 years in LA, now owner of Barry and Associates Investigative Services. Barry, thank you for being with us. Barry, here we hear, it goes on and on and on. We hear Stefan Sterns and mother, Deborah Sterns, stating Jen Soto had been thinking about this for a long time. They're basically trying to blame Jen Soto for her daughter's murder. Did you hear that?
I think that this whole family is so screwed up. I guarantee you.
Wait a minute, Barry Hutchinson. I don't care. I don't care who has a history of what. We're at the innocence guilt phase. This is going to a trial. I don't care who wet their bed when they were 3 years old. Don't care. I care who killed this little girl who raped her repeatedly and murdered her. Now we hear Stefan Sterns claiming that Jen Soto, the mother, had been, quote, thinking about this for a long time. We see where he's going with this.
Oh, yeah, he's going to try to point the accusatory finger toward her, to a certain degree to take some of the heat off of him. But you know what? When you've got a dead body.
I'm starting to wonder, Mama Bear, if he's trying to play this up to the point where he's going to try to lay it out that she took her daughter's life.
It's kind of looking that way.
Out of jealousy or something. And if, dude, this trial is going to be so hard to follow. It's going to be so hard to watch. I'm telling you guys it is. But that's what this is starting to sound like. What a loser. Yep, exactly. He's setting it up. I agree, Josie. Wholeheartedly, I do. What a piece of garbage.
Body on video leaning to the left in the vehicle that's been seen, and then you have a cadaver dog get a hit on trace chemical for decomposition. I think there's a couple of nails in your coffin there, pal.
Well, Dubé, you actually have a little bit of a leg to stand on in that there's a way for this guy to escape the death penalty. And I'll tell you what I think it is. The jury will be angry at Jen Soto, and they may partially blame her for ignoring the fact right under her nose, just rubbing her nose in it, that Stefan Sterns, her live-in boyfriend Mooch, does he even have a job, was sleeping with her daughter every night. The little girl said she wanted to go live in the woods. Wonder why. So the jury, right or wrong, may partially blame Jen Soto for the situation and reason, well, she's not getting convicted. I sure as HELL am not sending him to the death penalty.
I agree with you 100% on that. They're not even assuming that they think mom had a hand in it by looking the other way with, blissful ignorance and blind fate, whatever you want to call it. He is the one on trial, not her. His only other hope to be spared of death is the new law in Florida, where they allow for an 8-4 verdict in the penalty phase to execute. If they come back, let's say 8-4 or 9-3 or some other non-unanimous split, that could spare him death.
Guys, there's more of Stefan Sterns whining, and I haven't even gotten him whining about his mattress and the food. So far, he's been blaming Jen Soto for Maddie's death. And we're all angry that Jen Soto allowed a situation where her daughter slept night after night after night with her mooch live-in boyfriend. But to blame her for the murder itself is a whole nother thing. And that sounds like what he and his mommy and daddy are cooking up. Remember, the mommy and the daddy not charged with anything. Oh, and I haven't even got to them claiming that he has PTSD because he found the body. I mean, really? But that said, listen to this.
I wish I had done the correct thing to begin with. I wish I'd run downstairs and shaken her awake and called 911 and all that. And
well, I wish you had to. I wish you had to. Maybe she could have been saved, but
she was beyond that.
Dave Mack joining me, Crime Stories investigative reporter who has poured through every one of these recordings word by word. Dave Mack, can you believe what you're hearing? I wish I had found her and, quote, shaken her awake and called 911. Yeah, why didn't you? They are feeding into it. The mommy and the daddy are basically feeding their baby boy on a silver spoon a whole plate full of BS.
Yep. And I think that we're seeing that played out where he, for some reason, is trying to snow job his parents and believes that they're believing him. And that's when his mother says, are they treating you for PTSD after what you've found? I mean, they're living in a real fantasy world, Nancy. This is only something that a child, and I mean a child, talks to their parents like this. But we're dealing with somebody who's supposedly an adult grown-up
Amen,
man
Josie.
and two adult grown-up parents, and they're acting like it's a 6-year-old who got caught cheating in first grade on a spelling test.
Man, you put it better than I could have, Dave Mack. So,
this guy was soft beforehand. Please excuse anything I say about this, guys. This makes me so hot. It's not even funny. But this guy was soft to begin. He's a mommy bitch is what he is. He can't. There's nothing man about him. Nothing. I'm sorry, but not sorry. Nothing at all. He's a man child, and then some. And everything he's doing right now is, I mean, it's evident of who he is. So. I hope that the jury is able to see around this and see who he really truly is. I'm pretty sure they will be, because if we can all see it for what it is, I'm sure they'll be able to see it too. It's a joke. It's absolute.
I hope so.
Yeah. Absolutely. His parents definitely should be disgusted with him, ashamed, instead of helping him to set this. This is sick. This is sick. Listen, guys, I said this before. Our children are our children. They do things wrong, even regardless of whether we teach them to or not to teach them. But I'm gonna tell you, if my child did something that they shouldn't have done, I'm gonna be one of the first ones in line to say, here, You did the crime, do the time, my friend. You should have thought about this. You know better. You shouldn't have done what you did. Now go deal with it. The consequences are real. That's all there is to it. And these people need to deal with this. Just the same thing. These two remind me of the Laundries. Brian Laundrie's parents. It's the same situation, in my opinion. Sorry, but I'm not. Not if his parents enabled him. They're still enabling. 100%, Josie, they are. Absolutely. Again, these are just like the Laundrie parents, as far as I'm concerned. Chris and Roberta, number 2.
Dave, listen to this. His new story is evolving, and Dubé, prick your ears up on this, because this is where the defense is going. There's a whole new story about how Maddie died. And try to, on The Wizard of Oz, when Dorothy catches the wizard working the machines, and he says, "Don't look at the man behind the curtain." I guess they want the jury not to remember all the rape videos.
She does, Aurora. He's a mommy's boy. Little baby bitch mommy's boy is what this piece of crap is. Period.
Of this little girl on Stefan Sterns' phone, and that hyoid bone being broken or dislodged, like Joe Scott Morgan was just describing. Yeah, don't look at that. Look at this. Listen to the new theory emerge.
Well, Miss Sherry said, "I'm a bit ahead, and Mama Bear, trust me, they got him with forensics on her body." That's what I thought too. I guess she's talking to you, Mama Bear, not me. That's what I thought she was saying. I misread it. I'm sorry. Yes, but still agreed. There's no way he can get out of this. Okay. In my opinion, there's no way he can get out of this. They have a airtight case on this. No matter what his stupid brain is telling him he can try to do with this, it's a joke. Do your thing, but put on your little act, play your little show out with mommy and daddy. You're done. You're done. And I hope the judge goes as hard as you possibly can. I hope the death penalty goes through on this one. I said before, I may not be the hugest supporter with the death penalty, but when it comes to a child, absolutely nothing but. That's all I'm saying. This is the new generation. This is what everybody gets a trophy. Gets you. They grow up. Yep. Yep. Amen, Josie.
She was in a different part of the house? Yeah. She wasn't with you? Well, she had gone to be with me earlier in the night, but I left her alone for quite a while I was sort of just walking around and, haunting around the house like I do.
Were you awake when sent her into the room with you?
Yeah.
And she was fine when she came into your room? What time at night was that?
Maybe 11-ish or so, I'm not sure.
Okay, so she was fine. So what happened between 11 and whenever you found her?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
That is the main question. So, Dave, Matt, is he actually going to say, she came into my bedroom because they just don't have boundaries? They didn't respect my privacy. And then he goes outside to breathe in the night air, right? And he comes back and she's dead. And instead of calling 911, and she's cold, by the way, Joe Scott Morgan's going to have a field day with the fact that she was already cold to the touch. He finds her cold to the touch and then decides, instead of calling 911, that he'll just dress her for school, strap her body in the car, drive around, and then dump her body. Is that right, Dave Mack?
That is what he's shoveling. But I found something fascinating in the way he's talking to his parents, because he tries to pull them back into things they remember from him as a child. Like when he talked about how he had left her alone for a while, and he mentions walking around the house, and he called it haunting around the house, as I like to do. He's trying to relate this to something that they can understand and identify with and believe him. Because to anybody else looking at his story, you're going, this is total BS. But his parents, he can milk these moments of past and present and blur them together so that they're like, hey, yeah, I want to believe my son. I want to believe he's telling the truth. And that's where he gives them those bits that make no sense to us.
I think they did bombshell it, because I think that's where they found a lot of the CSAM stuff was via what he had set up and running in the storage locker. If I'm wrong, I'm sure somebody will correct me, but unless I read that wrong, I think that's where they found some of the CSAM stuff was via what his little torture situation he had set up in there, whatever the hell that was, his computer setup. I don't know. Sorry. I get all stuttered on this because I can't stand this. It's very hard to bring updates on this case, but I want to keep it out there. I want everything known, but I hate this so bad. I do. Bonnie Bailey, welcome, dear. Wonderful to see you. I hope you're feeling good today. It's wonderful to have you here. God bless, dear.
Hi, Bonnie.
Wonderful to see you today.
But that they can hold on to.
Oh, the devil is in the details. Stern, please keep talking. Listen to this.
Well, I discovered her in the state that she was in after everything was said and done. So, I mean, obviously I can't get into detail, but no, I was not aware that she had passed on. As you know, I'm up and down throughout the night, and I was not in the room the whole time.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
In the details. Stern, please keep talking. Listen to this.
Well, I discovered her in the state that she was in after everything was said and done. So, I mean, obviously I can't get into detail, but no.
After everything was said and done,
I was not aware that she had passed on. As you know, I'm up and down throughout the night, and I was not in the room the whole time.
is he really throwing? Is he putting Jen in the room and saying that he left the room and then come back and this is how he discovered her and that Jen is responsible for this?
Could be.
Wow, what a loser. Listen, y'all, I'm not saying Jen didn't do anything wrong, but you're really stepping out of this circle all the way around completely from anything and putting her in the middle of this. I just had treat. Oh, I'm so sorry, Bonnie. You're always in my prayers, dear. I know what you're going through. It's so horrible. I'm glad you're here. I hope you feel better, dear. I do. Yeah, this is ridiculous. I like to imagine myself on a phone calling and telling Nancy, shut. I got you. I got you. I thought that way myself too.
So he wasn't aware she was passed on, yet he found her cold to the touch with her lips blue. Now, the dad realizes the story is not gelling. Listen.
I mean, it's not like you just suddenly feel someone's ghost pass away from them. It's a discovery. And
so she wasn't even in the same room with you?
Well, I mean, she was in the room that I started in, but I'm up and down throughout the night, and I tend to wander around the house and fiddle around on my phone and step out front and feel the nice cool night air and all that.
There we go with the nice cool night air again, Karen Stark. Do you hear him? Later on, he even suggests that someone had drugged Maddie. And he clearly indicates that would be her mother. How much more blame can he heap on?
He can blame that on her all he wants, but he's the one that had the drugs and the tranquilizers and all this and that, everything else that he was taking. So I'm going to put that on him. That's my opinion. Okay. Maybe she did. I don't know, but I don't think so. I think it was him, in my opinion. Right, Bonnie. I agree. I do agree. I thank you, Tomboy. I'll definitely be looking at that.
Other people claiming he was wandering around the house, and while he was wandering, he came back in and found her dead.
Let's be perfectly clear. What's going on here is a cover-up and denial. How does he explain the fact that he took all those photos, the ones that were on his phone, and tried to erase them to make sure nobody would find them? Why would he get rid of her possessions? He's just passing along the blame, and his parents are going along with it. I hypothesize because it's their son, so they're trying to make sense out of it. But all of this, trying to shield the fact that this is a monster, a murderer, that he actually killed this girl, and he's saying as an adult that somebody was forcing him to sleep with her, to be with her, encouraging it, and he had nothing to do with this mature man who's become an infant and totally innocent. We know that that is not true.
Well, I'm assuming that they are treating you for PTSD because you found the body, not to mention everything else that went along with that.
No, not treating me for anything except my blood pressure.
Well, they need to do the PTSD because you're not sleeping.
Well,
Your blood pressure. You don't treat it. He doesn't need treated for anything. Okay. The only treatment he deserves is to be laid out on a table and injected with the end of his life. Sorry. That's just all I can't believe I'm hearing what I'm hearing. This is insane, you guys. I do not understand. Yes, Mom. Justice for Maddie. Absolute and nothing but. I don't understand. I swear to God, I will go nuts if they even remotely think about what he said on this phone. I'm telling you, I will. I'll lose a grip. I'll probably quit true crime. That's just all there is to it. I'll probably quit this altogether if they even remotely take into account what he just said. and think about it, there's no way in hell. Nope.
I keep telling myself that I have to maintain my faith. Without faith and trust in God, I have nothing.
Now listen to this. Does anybody know the meaning of narcissist? Here we hear Stefan Sterns asking his parents to dump money into an account for a trust fund for him.
Wait, did he just say to maintain my faith in God?
Yes, sir.
No.
No, not treating me for anything except my blood pressure.
Well, they need to do the PTSD because you're not sleeping.
Well, it's just... I keep telling myself that I have to maintain my faith. Without faith and trust in God, I have nothing.
Now listen to this. Does anybody know the meaning of narcissist? Here we hear Stefan Sterns asking his parents to dump money into an account.
Exactly. His parents are just as responsible as well, okay, let me rephrase this so this comes out right. I think his parents have a lot of accountability for the person that who he is, because they knew who he was way long time ago. Mom was here, God, Jesus, long time ago. We talked about this and stated that they knew who he was as a child. So in building upward to who he became, they know who he is and who he was, okay? And you could have stopped this. You should have had him put into a fucking institution back then, and this wouldn't happen. Oh, he found God while he's in jail. Of course he did. Yeah, no.
Don't they all?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there's no, that's not God in your life, my friend. That's the other one. That would be Satan, sir. That's how I feel.
For a trust fund for him after they die.
Job prospects are going to be difficult to come by. I might need some sort of resources to help me get back on my feet immediately until I can work out the income situation.
Yeah, don't know what that would be, but
maybe
we may be gone by the time you get out.
I don't know if there's any way we might be able to set up some sort of trust fund or something.
A trust fund.
Oh.
Hey, Matt.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
I mean, wow. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You're not getting out, bro. You're not getting out. And your brain dead parents. Can we set up a trust fund, mom and dad, please? Will you take care of me? Yeah, mommy dearest. That's an understatement, mom. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. Gross isn't even the word, bombshell. This goes to a level I've never seen anybody like this. I mean, we've dealt with and seen these monsters again and again and again. This is like the topper on the cake as far as I'm concerned. He really is. This is disgusting.
Matt, what did I just hear?
I just heard more and more BS, lies between Sterns trying to sell a bill of goods to his parents. But something that I'm caught with, Nancy, is how a couple of times during the course of these 35 phone calls, he actually, Sterns, mentions hurting his defense by saying something or giving too many details. And if we're truly seeking the truth, and he's truly an innocent man who did nothing wrong, that type of truth is something you want everybody to hear. So you would be saying these details for all the world to hear because you're an innocent guy. They got the wrong man. Anything would do. But he keeps covering up. He can't even tell the truth to his parents because he sold them a.
And yes, that's the sad thing. He's not. But he's one of the worst. Let me put it that way. He's probably one of the worst I've ever seen, especially with the delusional bullshit that's coming out of his mouth. This is just beyond sick. It really is. But yeah, she's right. There'll be more, and there have been others, sadly.
Bill of goods that they're buying into. Our baby boy would never do this. It's her fault. The evil girls in his life, the females in his life did wrong, and he's the victim.
Yeah, I remember Karen Stark, how he was talking about how Maddie, who's 13, and her mother ogled him and admired him and made a big fuss about him. It's their fault. I mean, narcissism, he wants his parents who are retired to set him up a trust fund of their money.
Yeah, critical. I agree with that too. And that's basically the only reason, probably, because he knows that somebody's gonna get their hands on him, knowing what he did. They're gonna get him one of these days. And that's what the commissary is for him. It's not to eat. Here, take all of my stuff, leave me alone. That's exactly what that is. Agreed. Critical and mom both. Miss Bonnie, thank you so much for that. Mom, Bonnie just gifted 5 memberships to the cafe. I can't see who got them right now, you guys. I'm sorry.
Dana, Renee, Bella Luna, SW Firefly, Pebbles, and K-Dub.
All right. Congratulations to all of you guys. Welcome to the sauce, all you new meatballs. Again, Bonnie, that was so sweet, so generous of you, my dear. I really appreciate that, and God bless. Absolutely amazing. Yes, welcome to all the new members. Thank you, Bonnie. There's 16 calls, and in one of them, he blames Jen on out. Oh, yeah. We heard that one. He's still blaming her. He basically within, I don't know if you guys caught that, and Mom, I don't know if you were in here to hear that part, but he said he basically walked out of the room and said she was okay, came back, and that's when she was gone. And I'm getting out of this that he's stating that Jen was in the room, and it's kind of throwing the blame all at her. I'm not saying she's not innocent, but making it sound like Jen may have done something to her to take him completely out of the equation. That is absolute insanity to me. Absolute. Thank you, Bonnie, again. Okay, so you heard that part of it too then, because that's what I got out of that call. I hope his parents continue to support them for the rest of his life. It's what they get. Yeah, well, that's a good point too, Bombshell. Hello, SRB. The whole family is delusional. I agree with that one too.
Money to support him when he gets out and after they die. That's what's on his mind.
Well, of course, Nancy, there's no guilt there because he can't feel. But all he's worried about is what's going to happen in his future. Let them infantilize him and feel like they have to take care of him. It's all so typical. I can't think of a single sexual abuser, really, somebody who doesn't wind up saying that the children wanted it, that it's perfectly normal. It's okay to do this. And he fits the bill. He's only concerned.
Well, you're right,
about
Karen Stark. Barry Hutchinson, 25 years in LE, now chief investigator.
I get it, SRB. It's almost done. I promise, hon. I promise.
Barry and Associates. Barry, he actually said she started it, talking about the little girl, Maddie, started the molestation.
You know, the whole.
He also, for those of you that didn't hear it, basically made a statement verifying that Jen knew the feelings. This makes me sick even saying this. The feelings that the girl had for him and still put them together. Are you kidding me? Grow up, little boy. God bless America.
Whole thing just sounds so
welcome,
sick.
Molly.
But you know, that's a commonality in these abusers. You know, they like you said earlier, they always try to circumvent guilt of themselves by saying that somebody else is the one that initiated the.
What is he, Mama Bear? 30? Is he 39? I can't remember.
I was going to say 40, but I don't know, to be honest.
Anywhere between 38 and 40. Mina Monsters probably knows because she's got everything on this. I have to go look at it because I have a bad memory to remember stuff. I want to say he's between 38 and 40. I get it, Cap. I do.
Contact, or they're the ones that initiated the abuse. It's just the way that these pedophiles think, you know. And
yes, Karen.
It makes me sick, literally. I mean, child abuse cases like this, I mean, that was the one thing in all my career in law enforcement that used to bother me the most. Whenever you had, you know, cases like this where, you know, there's an innocent victim that's a child, and you feel like you're sitting.
I haven't heard any of this stuff until now. So
about it as an investigator, looking at this POS sitting across from you at a table, knowing damn good well that you feel like just choking him to death right there at that point, but you can't. And yet they have the audacity to sit there and try to put this whole BS story on you to make you feel sorry for them. And we have to kind of play along with it and be a good actor to try to extricate information from them that's going to put them away for the rest of their life where they can't do it to another child.
Joe Scott Morgan, have you seen it all now? Stefan Sterns wants a trust fund set up by mommy and daddy.
Yeah, one of the most glaring things is that when his dad actually said, well, we might be gone. Did you hear that? And then he just continues on with this through line of all about him. He didn't pause for a moment and say, well, my God, that's horrible. Please don't say that, Dad, that you're going to be gone or that Mama's going to be gone. And that's not what it's about. It's about him, you know, moving forward. And he's going to need money when he gets out to get back on his feet. And, you know, that shows you the level of callousness. And he's doing this to his parents. How much more so? How much more so, Nancy, a 13-year-old little girl that he's been victimizing allegedly these many years? He's that callous. He's that very callous. He's not genetically connected to her, Nancy. He just views her as something that is disposable. And as we found out, she was kind of tossed away like rubbish, wasn't she?
Maddie Soto was not disposable.
We remember American hero, Deputy Sheriff Kenturas Taylor, Bibb County Sheriff's, killed in the line of duty, survived by grieving fiance Jamisa, children Kellen, London, Carter. American hero, Deputy Sheriff Kenturas Taylor.
Thank you for your service, Sheriff. It's very sad. And yeah, I agree. He's not going to get out till they dig his grave. And it's done. I'm not going to be able to cover that again until we cover the trial. And the trial's going to be hard. I'll tell you right now, because I am so hot. I could feel my blood pressure up right now. Jesus, I did not know. I haven't looked at any of these calls. I see another one that I'm not going to even go into it right now. It's just too much. The things he's saying absolutely blow my mind. It's insane. I can't. Hold on here. We're going to move on past that. I'm beyond disgusted right now with that. Just no way. He's really, and it sounds to me like he's putting everything on Jen. I'm not saying she's innocent by no means. You guys know how I feel about her, but he's putting everything on her and saying that he had no idea. He found her that way. He left the room and walked around and came back, and that's miss me with that bullshit, bro. Nice try. Like I said, I don't think that the jury would ever believe any of this. I just don't. Not at all. Not at all. Let's see. What else do I have that was sent to me? Hold on here.
I hope somebody will have bail money for you, Mom.
Yeah. I wish I lived down in Florida just so I could be. And that's going to be interesting. To be at that trial, there's no way she'll be able to be quiet. I can tell you that much. The passion she has for this case, there's no way she'll be letting it out. I promise you that much. Oh, let's see here. Oh, I think everybody would throw the money in to be able to do it for, and anybody else that would be there. So I don't know. This is definitely going to jump the rail here to some other sides of things. Like I said, we're trying to catch up on a bunch of different stuff, but I don't know if you guys saw what was going on
Taylor.
with the Diddy stuff. Well, thank you.
Yes,
Taylor.
SRB.
Very nice. We're good.
We're moving on.
You're safe. Sorry. I won't be going back to that, like I said, now until the trial, unless something big happens or something, but I just can't. 1 minute here. There's a lot of that to drop too. God bless America. It just gets worse and worse and worse. Okay. So, like I said, jumping all the way to the other side of things, I don't know how many people have followed the Diddy situation. This was sent to me yesterday. I think yesterday, and it's another. Let me see here. Hold on. So, according to this, with the Diddy stuff, now Kim Kardashian and Kanye West are involved now with this stuff. I don't know what this is all about, but we shall see here real quick. I'm kind of interested, to be honest with you. I have not seen this yet, so you guys know.
Okay, there's a whole lot brewing with Kim Kardashian, and the last thing Diddy needs is Kim Kardashian and her mother, Kris Jenner, 3 inches up his tailpipe. Joining me right now, Rob Shooter. Rob Shooter, host of Naughty But Nice podcast, former publicist for Sean Combs, author of The Forward Answer. Rob.
Welcome to the Sauce, K-Dub. It's wonderful to have you here. Thank you so much for being part of the family here. We appreciate it very much.
Shooter, I want you to hear what's on this track and what's on this secretly recorded phone call. Listen.
Insane.
Okay, you know what, Shooter, Hold your horses, because I definitely need a shrink right now more than I need Combs's, Diddy's publicist. Hold it. Joining me, high-profile psychoanalyst, joining us from LA, author of Deal Breaker. You can see her now on Peacock, Dr. Bethany Marshall. Guys, that was exclusively from The Shade Room. Bethany, we just played Sean Combs speaking, apparently illicitly recorded, to
Absolutely,
Kanye. And he said,
KW.
this is effing sad. I'm Puff Daddy in jail. This is effing sad as a mother effer. The devil is a liar. Okay, what? Puff Daddy in jail. What? Is he that shocked? If the allegations are true, he has been raping women for years and years and years and years and getting away with it because they were afraid to come forward. And now it's sad that he's in jail. Help me out here.
Nancy, he's shocked because he's gotten away with it for so long and because he thinks that what he's doing is perfectly reasonable. He thinks it's reasonable to sex traffic minors and sex workers and women. He thinks it's reasonable to bring men in to have sex with women so he can watch. He thinks it's reasonable to have a huge room lined with mirrors so he can view sex from every angle. And all these comments are so self-referential. They're all about him. There's nothing about the victims. There's nothing really about his children. And I would say he's doing what criminals do. It's something called shared paranoia, where he tries to align with Kanye against the world, against the legal experts, against the law, thinking that both of them are just buddies in this together and everybody's out to get them.
Hey guys, I want to hear that one more time. This is effing sad. I'm Puff Daddy in jail. What? Okay, let's hear that again.
This is sad. I'm Puff Daddy in jail. This is sad.
It's saying.
The devil is a liar.
Okay, well, it doesn't end there. And we're getting that from The Shade Room. You can find it online. And there's more. Let's listen.
We're going to beat this and get next to you. Yeah. We're going to raise our families and become the kings that we're supposed to be. You feel me?
Yeah, absolutely.
The kings we're supposed to be. All right, this is Combs, Diddy, speaking from his jail cell, talking about the king he is supposed to be. Again, that is exclusively.
Wait, he's talking to Kanye. And didn't Kanye say some negative stuff against him? Or am I wrong? I might be wrong. I don't know, but he ain't no damn king. That's for damn
I
sure.
have no clue. I pay absolutely no attention.
I know you don't know anything about this one, right? But I thought for sure that Kanye came out against him and possibly was going to testify, but I don't know. We'll see.
From The Shade Room. Thank you, The Shade Room. I'm going to beat this and get next to you. We're going to raise our families and become the kings that we're supposed to be. Okay, out to Rob Shooter joining me, former publicist for Sean Combs. Shooter, can you shed any light on this? The kings we're supposed to be? He certainly lived like a king ever since you told me he called for cheesecake at 3 a.m. and somebody trotted out to get it in downtown Manhattan.
Mark my word, he's going to beat the first trial. The Fed machine will eventually get him on tax or something similar. Oh, yeah. SRB said probably Kanye's way. Now, that's very possible, too. I can agree with that, SRB.
What do you make of it, Shooter?
I'm not at all surprised. This is who Puffy is. He believes that the rules do not apply to him.
Is it Puffy now? Is it Puffy now?
There's many different names. I always call him
Love.
Puffy, but lots of different names there, Nancy, including some names.
Okay, I call those an alias, but you go right ahead.
Well, you're right. I've got a few names that I shouldn't say on TV too about him, but Puff, Diddy, whatever you want to call him, this is who he is. He really believes he's very special. It doesn't surprise me at all that he's completely perplexed that he is in jail. He thinks he's above the law. He's not. And now he can't get his head around it. It is a shocking audio that you've got your hands on via The Shade Room, but that is him. That is who he thinks he is. This is from the horse's mouth. He cannot believe this has happened to him.
Yeah, and another thing, Rob Shooter, which I'll circle back to when we get into the whole North drama of Kim K's charged with all those misogynist attacks were going to be hanging around. No way in HELL would I have my children around the Tate brothers. Are you kidding me? Kim K had to go for an emergency mediation. Thanks, Combs. Straight out to Lynn Shaw. Lynn is the founder and executive director of Lynn's Warriors, which is dedicated to ending human trafficking and sex attacks on girls and women. She's the host of Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. Lynn, I think part of the reason that Sean Combs is saying all this about how effing sad this is that Puffy's in jail is because, as you know, during all of the free coughs and more, women, as Dr. Bethany Marshall was describing, were nothing. They were nothing to him. They were drugged. They had no idea what was going on, many of them. They were lubed up with their whole bodies covered in baby oil. And in their semi-conscious state, they were posed in very,
I believe they have added that, Mountain Man, that they got him on extra charges for, what was it? I think there was jury tampering, evidentiary something. Maybe it was evidence tampering too. There was a few other things that we looked at a couple months back that they said that they were going to throw at him too. And I don't know if they actually put the charges on him, but they were saying they were going to. So, but I agree with you.
say revealing positions and video. Just hold that thought for a moment. You go to a party and you think, oh, my stars, there's going to be all these celebrities there. What if I meet this one? What if I meet that one? And you wake up with your rear end and you're hurting. Your body has been covered in baby oil. Your head's hurting. You feel nauseous. And then you realize that you have been posed in different X-rated positions.
Nancy.
So Sean Combs could get a better angle with a group of guys standing around with professional lights and video cameras as you were. Okay, these women were like a paper cup to him. They meant nothing, but because of them coming forward, he is behind bars and he can't stand it.
And I need a shower after hearing all of that. The saddest.
Yeah, I got to agree. It's going to be a while. It's going to be a while. And I hope that he gets to sit there through the whole thing for what he's done to people, to children, to women. No. Nope.
Thing. Victims, alleged victims, all victims of sexual exploitation and trafficking, they are keeping their eye on this story. Just the other day, I ran into somebody who used to work in the rap world, a woman now who said, I really wish they could get to the bottom of this if they only knew what really went on. We are missing the point here in all of this discussion. The focus has shifted. This is the Dirty Diddy playbook. Put it all on him. We can all forget about the victims, survivors of these attacks.
Thank you,
this is
SRB.
exactly why victims never want to come forward, because they never are either believed, they're ashamed, or the focus is always on the alleged perpetrator. And I don't blame them. So let's see where this goes. But you know what? The feeling on the streets here in New York City is this will not go anywhere. He's got power and money, and he will not be held accountable.
And I'm telling you right now, cases are already being dismissed. So I'm wondering if that's the beginning of a domino effect. Straight out to Dr. Dwayne Hendricks joining us, former associate warden at MDC in Brooklyn, former senior warden with the U.S. Department of Justice, Federal Bureau of Prisons, and founder president of A New Daylight Foundation. And he's the author of Who Are You? Say It, See It, Say It, and Seize It. Dr. Hendricks, could you explain something to me? How is it that Sean Combs is having these long conversations with Kanye, of all people, that nut that just did all those anti-Semitic rants and is selling t-shirts with swastikas on them? Why is it that he can have this long conversation with him and then Kanye tape it? I mean, is this from a public phone? How does that work? Or does he have a surreptitious cell phone?
No, the phone calls, each phone call is 15 minutes.
Are you allowed to, if you're not law enforcement or legal in the legal field, are you allowed to tape phone calls that come from jail?
I mean, anybody can tape a phone call.
I don't know. Sherry, if you're in here, do you know if that's legal or not? I don't know if you're allowed, though. If you're, especially with somebody that's awaiting trial for something, as long as you're on the call list, you can record those calls? Huh. I didn't know. That's interesting.
Well, actually, I think there's some, North Carolina Mountain. Depends on the state, because some states it's inadmissible if you don't have the person's permission to record the call, I believe.
Gotcha. Okay. Tomboy said the same thing. Well, he gets cheesecake in the middle of the night. So I don't even.
Right.
This dude's a mess.
At length at a time. So any call would only be that length. In terms of the recording, all phone calls are recorded by the U.S. government and inmates, and the persons that take those calls from inmates from the jails know that. One thing I did not hear in the clip that you played, I didn't hear this call.
Recording, did you?
Yes.
Exactly.
So
Guys,
So
you
that's the
tell
one thing I
them what
did
you're
hear.
talking about, because I was listening, Dr. Hendricks, and I never heard this call is originating from a federal correctional institute, which tells me it is a surreptitious cell phone.
It could be. Now, here's the question: If
Ooh, look
there
who's
is no,
backtracking. I'm
no,
saying
there's
nothing
no,
but
no,
tail hole
listen.
and elbows. You're running.
What they're saying is that he's not calling from the jail phone. He's calling from a hidden cell phone he's not supposed to have, which I'm not surprised. This is Diddy.
Not either.
Like SRB said, he's getting cheesecake. Of course, he's going to have a cell phone. He's probably got anything he wants in there, to be honest with you. He's probably drinking every night and watching regular TV and whatever the hell he wants to do. So, yeah, I wouldn't doubt any of that.
No, not running. Listen to me. So the question is, New York is a one-party consent state in terms of recording a call.
Don't care.
Now, if the call did come from a federal prison, there is no law against the person receiving the call
Wait a minute,
recording it.
please.
However, if this was
I know what you're
from
doing.
a cell phone, if this was from a cell phone,
You're telling me all
the
about
question-
one-party
there is
consent,
plenty of-
which doesn't matter because it's from a jail. I'm asking you, is this a surreptitious cell phone that they're letting comes have behind bars? I never heard the jail
No, they're not
recording.
letting him-
This call
they're not
originates
letting
from a
him.
federal correctional institute.
Now we need to go to the shade room and ask the full conversation, because ultimately we will only know that if we have the full clip. So that would be the only way we'll know that this was.
Dr. Hendricks, don't be dragging the shade room into it. They just got a hold of the tape after Kanye leaked it. The issue is in the jail. Sean Combs getting special privileges because this clearly is not on a jail.
They're not giving him the phone. He has it snuck. Shut up, Nancy. This is stupid. He, like I said, it's not the jail saying, here, you can have a phone, Diddy. Okay. It's that he snuck one in. Probably some of the guards. This is a musician, and some of the guards are probably, ooh, I'm gonna be Diddy's buddy in here, and blah 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 blah, and so on and so forth. And I'm sure there's things offered back and forth. That's how that goes down. It's not the jail saying, here you go, you got your own phone. No,
right?
She's so dumb sometimes.
It's not on a jail phone. It has to be from a cell phone.
No, he's not calling from a cell phone. He'd be the last person.
Then
to have
where
a cell
is the recording? I've never had one jail call, and I've talked to inmates for hours.
Maybe you didn't have the full clip, Nancy, from the very beginning. Think about it for a minute instead of being Nancy.
And hours. Not wasted time, because usually they would give me information on other cases. But that said, you can't go
Exactly,
a minute
Tomboy.
without hearing that recording saying this call originates from a federal correctional institute. I didn't hear that.
Again, those were short clips that we saw. So the only way we would be able to verify that if we were able
Phil.
to hear the clip for more than 45 seconds to a minute, or a minute and 15 seconds. But I highly doubt that gentleman had a cell phone in that prison. I guarantee he does not.
So, whatever. Crazy shit. Let me see here. What else did I have in here?
No.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, this is another big one, and I'm gonna be revisiting this case because this case is really important to me. When I was kind of obsessed with this as well, I wanted to show this real quick.
Did you read that before you took it down?
No, I didn't even get to see it. Sorry. What did it say? He probably gets baby. Oh my God, Mountain Man. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. Funny though, that was good. No sorries, Phil. No sorries. I always love your comedy. Always helps me. It always helps me. It's too funny. I can't with you guys sometimes. I swear. I love it. All right, so on to this one, guys. The Mora Murray's case. I don't know if anybody else in here. I know some of you guys do because like I said, I've been obsessed with it. There is some interesting news in this. I thought I should share.
Well, that's an interesting coffee mug.
Yeah, I just noticed that too. Fuck off! I'm writing. I need to get one of those. Fuck off! I'm streaming. My kids are no, but he's an 18-year-old. They're on spring break right now. Mama Bear's kids, I don't know where they're at, and Elisa's
They're in
kids.
their rooms hiding.
So yes, we're good, Phil. You're good.
Hey, and welcome back to True Crime This Week with me, your host, James Renner. Hey, usually, as you know, this show is devoted to bringing you all the latest true crime news you may have missed during the week. But today's episode will cover new information in the disappearance of Mora Murray. I'm going to return next Friday morning with our regularly scheduled programming, but I want to bring in this special episode. There's a lot that happened today. 24 hours ago, I thought this was going to be a normal podcast, and then things happened. I've actually been away for a couple weeks. I just got back from a tour around the Midwest for my new true crime book, Scout Camp. I visited Des Moines, St. Louis, Tulsa, Wichita, which is why I haven't been doing the show for 2 weeks, and was ready to get back to...
No, I got you too on that tomboy. James Renner, I've watched a lot of his stuff, and I'm not 100% sure which way to go with him either. I agree with you.
business as usual. But yesterday morning, I got a call from a source close to the investigation of Mora Murray. The story I'm about to tell you is a little twisty, it's a little complicated, and it's very new. So I'm going to do my best to walk you through it, but here's the headline. A fingerprint found inside Mora Murray's car has been linked to former West Point cadet Stefan Baldwin, who was sentenced to 15 and a half years in prison on unrelated charges in Ohio yesterday. In fact, an investigator for the New Hampshire State Police once referred to Stefan as his #1 suspect. Here's what I've been able to piece together in the last 24 hours. I'm going to start with the crimes in Ohio and then show you how Stefan...
Why is it always got to be Ohio? So Stefan was, I believe, Mora's boyfriend, if I go back and remember right. This is interesting.
Connects to Mora Murray. Back in 2012, Stefan Baldwin was appointed as a humane agent for Union County, Ohio. That's in a rural part of Ohio outside of Columbus. A part of his job was investigating animal cruelty cases for the county. But even though he was an official agent of Union County, he really worked for a nonprofit he created known as the Animal Cruelty Task Force, or ACT for short. He had a badge and legal authority and all that good stuff. Stefan also served as a board member for the Logan County Humane Society and was the former director of the Top of Ohio Pet Shelter. Stefan ran his nonprofit out of a few locations in Union County, including his home. ACT's mission was to take in dogs with behavioral issues, dogs that had gotten in trouble for biting people and were at risk for being put down. And Stefan would train them and then place them with their new forever homes. Perhaps he even really did that for a time, but then the dogs began to disappear. When owners called to check on their dogs, Stefan would tell them that the dog had already been placed for adoption, but then he could not provide any information about where they ended up, and he could show no documentation related to the adoptions. Long story short, what Stefan was really doing was euthanizing the dogs when their funding ran out in order to make space for new dogs and new money. And that money that was supposed to go back into the nonprofit and the care of the dogs ended up going into his pocket. By the time the truth...
Wow, that is sad. Hey, Fred. I thought they cleared him because, that's initially what we had heard, but this is interesting. It is Aurora. It's one I've been obsessed with for a long time. Yeah, this is the only place I've seen it too, and I'm grateful that I received the information. But yeah, I agree with you, Fred, and thank you for being here. That's disgusting. What a sad, sad thing. These poor animals.
Truth came out. Stefan had needlessly euthanized at least 18 dogs in Ohio and possibly as many as 100 cats. Stefan told one couple that he could get their dog removed from this list of dangerous animals in exchange for $1,000. When Stefan learned he was being investigated, he fled to California, where he started up a new nonprofit and began killing dogs again. He was eventually apprehended by U.S. Marshals who posed as potential customers and brought back to Ohio, where he was charged with 43 felonies in 2020. Charges included cruelty to companion animals, grand theft, bribery, telecommunications fraud, tampering with evidence, and impersonating a peace officer. Once Stefan was arrested, police took his fingerprints and entered the fingerprints into APHIS. That's the national database for fingerprints that's used by law enforcement around the country. And here's where we get to Mora Murray. Shortly after they entered his prints into APHIS, New Hampshire State Police Cold Case Unit Detective Charles West contacted police in Ohio. Stefan's fingerprints had hit on evidence they had in the disappearance of Mora Murray. At the time, West considered Stefan the lead suspect in the case. West was making plans to come to Ohio to interview Stefan when he abruptly quit the cold case unit due in part to the drama caused by so-called advocates who were working with the Murray family. For those who somehow have not heard about this case, Mora Murray was an accomplished runner from Hanson, Massachusetts. After graduating high school, she attended West Point, but got in trouble there for stealing items from the commissary at Fort Knox. She went in front of a judicial review board who found her responsible for conduct unbecoming a cadet. She was going to be kicked out of West Point, but shortly before her official sentencing, they allowed her to withdraw to keep that off her record. More than a...
Okay, no. This isn't the boyfriend. Damn it. I had the names wrong. Okay, anyway, on we go. Sorry, guys.
At UMass Amherst. She got in trouble there, too. In 2003, she was caught using a stolen credit card and went...
I don't understand what the things she got in trouble for has anything to do with her case. This is bullshit. That doesn't need to be talked about. That has nothing to do with what happened to her. I'm sorry.
Before a judge there, who told her that her record would be wiped clean if she could just stay out of trouble for 6 months. On Monday, February 9th, 2004, Mora emailed her professors saying that there had been a death in her family and that she would return to campus soon. That was a lie. No death in the family. She went to her bank and emptied her account, just like a little over $200. Then she went to a liquor store and bought way too much booze for one person. Then she drove north into the White Mountains of New Hampshire, where she crashed into a snowbank around 7:30 p.m. People who lived near the accident site called the police, but sometime between the crash and when the first officer arrived, a window of somewhere between 5 and 7 minutes, Mora vanished, never to be seen again. There is, of course, a lot more to that story. I wrote a whole book about the case called True Crime Addict, which goes into greater detail, but that's about the sum of it. So back to Stefan, whose fingerprints were found in Mora's car after police dusted it for prints. How is he connected to Mora? Stefan attended West Point too. In fact, he was the student who represented Mora at the Judicial Review Board hearing. He was also in a relationship with Mora for some time before Mora met her boyfriend, Bill Rausch.
There it is. Okay. Yeah, because I went and looked at my notes and I seen the Bill Rausch name, but there's the answer to it. What Tomboy just said, that he was a boyfriend, but not Bill, the one boyfriend. Okay. Thank you, Tomboy.
And Stefan left West Point within a week of when Mora withdrew. My source describes Stefan's unique personality and colorful language. Quote, he's a sociopath, end quote, they said. Quote, obsessive in his relationships, abusive to his girlfriend, and has a dissociative identity disorder, end quote. Dissociative identity disorder is what we used to call multiple personality disorder. To be more blunt, they referred to Stefan as a serial killer of dogs. They went on to say that Stefan was prone to bouts of mania, including one instance where he left his dogs behind to drive 10 hours to see his girlfriend. I was given this information yesterday morning, just a couple hours before Stefan was due to be sentenced for his crimes in Union County. It's a 2-hour drive from my house, and I arrived just before it all started. As luck would have it, Stefan was waiting outside the courtroom, and I got a short interview with him. Stefan told me that he dated Mora for a while at West Point, saying, quote, I really cared for her, end quote. Once he actually got in trouble for having Mora in his room at West Point because I guess there they have this rule where you're not allowed to share a horizontal surface with a member of the opposite sex. And then one day when they were on a bus, Mora chose to sit next to Bill Rausch instead of him. And that's when he realized that she had started dating Bill. He says he represented Mora in front of another judicial review board after Mora was found passed out on the lawn at West Point, suffering from alcohol poisoning. Those are his words. He claims her friends dumped her there and ran away to avoid getting in trouble themselves. Stefan says he only learned about Mora's disappearance after seeing an episode of Maury Povich. He says he never heard of my book. I asked him about the fingerprints, and Stefan said he was interviewed by the FBI last spring in 2024. But he says the fingerprint was found on a CD inside the car. He says, quote, we used to trade CDs in college. That's why my print was on it, end quote. He claims he was never in her car and never saw her again after he left West Point. He says he has never been further north than Connecticut. Stefan even forwarded me an email he sent to the FBI after that initial interview. I'm going to read it for you here. Special Agent Logan. Good afternoon. I hope this email finds you well. Since we last spoke, I spent a little bit of time looking into the details around Mora's disappearance and trying to think of anything that might be even the slightest bit relevant. I admittedly never looked into Mora's case too much just because I always had that little twinge of disappointment in how the relationship ended. I mentioned the group of upperclassmen when you were here who took Mora out and got her so drunk that she passed out on a front lawn, and they left her there to deal with the disciplinary repercussions. I'm not positive at all, but it sounds like the boyfriend she was dating when she disappeared was part of that same group of upperclassmen, and all I can say is that anyone who would leave a 19-year-old girl passed out drunk and completely vulnerable can't be a decent person. I wish I had names for you. All I can say is that there should be disciplinary records in her files from that incident, and hopefully it would mention anyone else who was involved that night. I don't know how wide the net has been casting around her boyfriend, but I got the sense that the group he hung out with at West Point was really tight, so maybe they know something or would be worth speaking to. The only other thought I have, and this is a bigger stretch, but at 20 years, I guess any thought is worth mentioning. There was a fifth-year senior during the 2001-2002 year at West Point who was obsessed with Mora. I wanted to say Chris was his name. I can't be positive on that, but I know that there weren't many fifth-year seniors, so hopefully it's not too hard to nail that individual down. He had been following Mora around a lot at school, and I only know that because he burst into my room one night when Mora and I were together, and we both got a lot of demerits for sharing that horizontal space. When I asked Mora how this upperclassman knew she was in my room, she basically said that he had been stalking her, but was pretty dismissive about the whole thing. I can't imagine she ever gave him the time of day, and I don't know what happened to him.
Exactly, SRB. Basically, I think he's trying to pull himself out and insert people in his place. That's truly how I believe this is being put out there.
And I'm not even sure what his name was, but as I think about anything that might be helpful, those are the two thoughts I could come up with. To help narrow him down beyond a fifth-year senior, possibly named Chris, I would hope that our disciplinary records might show who turned us in that night. I know this isn't your case, but I wish you all the very best figuring out what happened. I don't know if I can be of any more assistance, but I am just a phone call away. Stefan Baldwin. The question becomes, after all this, the question is Stefan lying about seeing Mora after leaving West Point? Is he lying about how his fingerprint got on the CD in her car? I don't know. But the one thing we do know about Stefan is that he is a master manipulator and a compulsive liar, as was evident during the victim impact statements that were read in court prior to his sentencing yesterday. One woman named Alex said, quote, "No one should have to encounter the monster that Baldwin is ever again. He deserves to rot in prison for the rest of his life," end quote. A woman named Tish said, quote, "He conned every human into believing him. His deception caused immense suffering," end quote. A woman named Linda said, quote, "He was and is a master manipulator and could make other people believe whatever he wanted them to believe. His actions were not one-off, it was habitual, and he hid things with a smile on his face. I believe there are more lies that we are not aware of," end quote. A veterinarian named Michelle Gonzalez said, quote, "He is someone who has no empathy, no ability to care for others. I want you to consider his lack of remorse," end quote. A woman named Lisa said, quote, "He always thought he was smarter than everyone else. He has psychopathic tendencies. He has no emotion, no compassion for victims, human or animal," end quote. In the end, the judge sentenced Stefan to 15 and a half years in prison for his crimes, and now he will have to submit his DNA. I'm still processing everything I learned today, but there are a couple things that I'm reminded of. A couple years ago, I learned that Mora's boyfriend, Bill Rausch, accessed her voicemail after she disappeared, and in doing so, learned that Mora had hooked up with a guy at a UMass party the weekend before she went missing. And very early on, I'm talking like 20 years ago, there was a popular rumor floating around message boards devoted to the case about the man Mora left the party with that night. Here's a screenshot of an old post on mydeathspace.com. At the time, the rumor was that this man's name was Stefanos. I've also seen just called Stefan, S-T-E-F-A-N. Stefan Baldwin spells it S-T-E-F-F-E-N. I'm very interested. I'm very interested to know if Stefan was ever at UMass or in New Hampshire. Here's what he looked like around that time. Feel free to email me directly at jameswrenner@gmail.com. And if you have any information helpful to the case, contact the cold case unit with the New Hampshire State Police. That's the new info. I'm interested to see where it goes, what other leads it might kick up. I will be back next week, Friday morning, wherever you get your podcast.
Okay. Wow. This is new. I don't remember this guy ever being talked about before. Obviously, he wasn't. Bill Roush was the one that I was thinking they were talking about at first, and then I got confused, but Tomboy straightened that out for me. Like I said, here's the secondary side to this.
Hi there, and welcome back to another special.
This one's only 8 minutes, but this is the second part to the first video we watched. I'm really interested. Like I said, I'm going to revisit this whole thing, the full thing again, because you guys know I'm obsessed with this one. And I really would love to see some justice for this, for Julie and the rest of the family. It's absolutely deserved after what they've gone through on this case.
To another special episode of True Crime This Week with me, James Renner. Hey, I knew Mora Murray's case was popular, but I did not expect the episode to blow up the way that it did. And I wanted to hop on here real fast and provide some updates because information has been coming in like lightning speed in the last 24 hours. If you're just catching up, I revealed on the podcast yesterday that New Hampshire State Police found a fingerprint in Mora Murray's car that linked to a man named Stefan Baldwin. According to Stefan, the fingerprint that was found on a CD or CD case. It's unclear which exactly it was, that he had exchanged with Mora when they were dating at West Point. Now, keep in mind, this is simply Stefan's explanation for where that fingerprint was found. And he explained that when he spoke to the FBI less than a year ago, when they questioned him about this, that's what he was told. All I know, all that I was told prior to talking to Stefan was that a fingerprint was found in their car. He says it was a CD or CD case. Mora Murray, as you know, is a young woman who went missing in the White Mountains of New Hampshire after crashing her car into a snowbank there in February of 2004. She was the subject of my book, True Crime Addict, and if you'd like to know more about the particulars of her case, please check out the episode that came out yesterday. Back to Stefan. According to the source close to the investigation into Mora Murray's disappearance, the lead detective in Mora Murray's case told others that Stefan was his #1 suspect. Now, this was said after Stefan's arrest on unrelated charges here in Ohio as far back as 2020. But Stefan still remains interesting enough to law enforcement that he was questioned by the FBI just last year. Authorities in Ohio refer to Stefan as a serial killer of dogs. He was sentenced Thursday to 15.5 years in prison for needlessly killing 18 dogs in Ohio, dogs that he was supposed to be training so that they were less aggressive. And he would tell the owners, oh, they're doing fine, they're doing great, but he would be killing the dogs in order to open up more space. He also killed another 18 dogs that we know of in California while he was awaiting trial. There's a rumor going around that the private investigators working with the Murray family vetted this guy and found nothing. However, I suspect the person they're talking about is a man named Stefan, spelled Stefan, who knew Mora at UMass, and not this Stefan Baldwin, which is spelled Steffen. Regardless, I've now spoken to Stefan's former partners and family members, and nobody has heard from these private investigators. Is this the key to the case? I don't know. But finding Stefan's fingerprints in the car of a missing woman is certainly newsworthy, given his violent history. Now let's talk about that and some of the other details I've learned about Stefan in the last 24 hours. Yesterday, I spoke to Megan, who dated Stefan a few years back. Stefan was abusive, she says, and living with him was traumatic and led to a diagnosis of PTSD. When Megan met Stefan, she was getting started in the animal rescue community, where Stefan was a bit of a celebrity. Soon he had put her in charge of his dogs, but he never paid her. She says, quote, Stefan is very secretive about his life, and he looks for those who have been previously abused. That goes for dogs and women. He would flip out very easily and start yelling for no reason. Once we were in the car and I was driving, Stefan was yelling again. He said he wanted me to open the door so he could push me into traffic. He often threatened me with violence. Another time he pushed me up against the fence, and I had to tase him to let me go. Megan says, and that's end quote there, Megan says that twice Stefan took sudden road trips and left her alone with the dogs, and he'd get angry if she called him while he was away. When she was with Stefan, he was not into hard drugs, but would smoke pot, as far as she knew. He was not into hard drugs, but he would smoke pot all day, every day. He talked a lot about his abusive childhood and how it affected him. Megan also believes that Stefan's abusive behavior contributed to the deaths of two of his ex-girlfriends. One woman, Amanda Walton, was clean and sober when she met Stefan, but died of an overdose after being in a relationship with him. Before she died, Amanda reached out to Megan, and she shared those texts with me. Amanda reached out in May 2017, quote, hey there, I know this is a little strange, but my curiosity has gotten the best of me. I dated Stefan before you did, and I honestly was just wondering if he turned into a total fucking psycho on you too, or what. The man is batshit crazy, and I hope he didn't fuck you over as bad as he did me." End quote. Stefan's other girlfriend, Shelby Graber, died in an accident on Highway 270 in Ohio after driving the wrong way. At the time of that accident, she was over the legal limit for alcohol and also high. Another rumor that popped up yesterday was that Stefan's mother is missing. And I can confirm that that is true as far as we know after speaking with his father, Howard, who provided more information about Stefan's childhood. Howard was married to Stefan's mother, Barbara Baldwin, but divorced when he and his brother were very young. At the time, he had serious concerns about her mental stability. A judge granted Barbara custody, but also named Stefan and his brother wards of the state. Barbara then disappeared.
Okay, is this dude a flipping serial killer? I mean, we got 2 girlfriends dead, animals. His mother's missing. Mora. I mean, come on now.
I mean, it kind of sounds that way, but
It's going that way, isn't it? This is crazy, y'all. Very crazy.
Appeared with both boys, and he didn't see them for several years. Turns out Barbara had taken them to California, where they lived in a ghetto near LA for a time. About 5 years later, Barbara contacted Howard and said the boys needed him. Howard was living in New York, but immediately moved to California to be near them. Eventually, Stefan's brother moved in with his father, but Stefan stayed with his mother. Barbara became a born-again evangelical Christian out there, and Stefan became part of that church too. At a custody hearing when Stefan was about 10 years old, a judge asked who he'd like to live with, and he said his mother, because his father would not let Jesus into his heart. I should note that Howard is Jewish. Howard didn't see Stefan again until after he had left West Point as a young man. He does not know why Stefan left West Point within a week of Mora Murray leaving the school. Stefan spoke on social media about his mother disappearing several years ago. Howard confirms that nobody knows where she is and nobody has spoken to her in many years, saying, quote, "I don't know if she's alive or dead or has been killed and buried in the desert," end quote. Stefan claims he has never been to New Hampshire or UMass in his life. When I spoke to his ex-wife, Haley, today, she said, quote, "He was living with me in California in 2004, end quote. Those are the updates. If you know Stefan and have any information that does, in fact, place him in New Hampshire or around UMass, I'd be very interested in hearing about it. You can contact me directly at jameswrenner@gmail.com. If you have any information related to Mora Murray's disappearance, please contact the New Hampshire State Police Cold Case Unit. I'll update if there's anything major that comes in the next few days, but I expect that's the most of it. So thanks for your attention, and we'll talk soon. True crime this week is
wow. This is a lot, you guys. So 2 girlfriends died, which I'm just gonna have to say coincidences, but come on now. Mara's missing and probably deceased at this point, I'm gonna say. His mother's missing and hasn't been heard from in years. Something's wrong. I mean, am I wrong to assume? I don't think I am. So let's see here. Yeah, I'll be going back to this, like Mara's case completely again to revisit it. There's a video I'm going to put out with it when I do it of what may have happened now that we have this other information with it. Wow. I pray that they can get some answers on this. Like I said, Julie and the family, they all deserve answers and closure on this one. It's been so long. They put so much into this. Really crazy, guys. Really crazy. So I think that's probably going to have to do it for today, guys, for that part of the show. But of course, when we do these shows, I like to have everybody leave with a bit of a smile on their face if we can make that happen. So we're going to try and see if we can do that. Give me a minute here. Just a minute. 1 minute. There we go. Here. Let's see what we got. Yeah.
Hi, Virginia.
Hey, Virginia. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Hang on. go. One moment here. Okay.
Hey, and welcome.
Oh, hush. Let's get back.
You just scare yourself.
Yes, I did. I did. Hold on.
Now,
All right, let's start off with this here. Would you say, Alicia? No minutes, unacceptable. Okay. Well, we're ready anyway. Let's see how this goes first, and hopefully you guys get a little giggle out of this, some of this stuff. That's true. It's a good point, Raquel. He didn't say he hoped she was okay wherever she may be. It's a good point. I hope that this is the guy. I really hope this is the guy. I really, really do, guys. Okay.
next on Newsbeat.
We can't hear it.
What if you weren't supposed to hear it?
Sounds a little sus to me.
How about now?
Yep, that was just.
Can you hear it?
Yep.
Well, see? Jeez, all you have to do is tell me you can't hear it.
Oh, he's sending me a message. Take two. Sorry.
And I'm sure they'll bring that energy right to Texas.
I'm just here to tell you, Pack is back.
You heard it from a fan right here. Pack is back. And if you're thinking about driving today, be prepared and stay.
Look, guys, that was Mama Bear taking her dog for a walk. That's what happens. Because he takes
Seriously.
Yes, that's Mama Bear and Ghost.
Cautious because it's coming down pretty heavy. Back to you, Courtney.
Over at WCCB Rising, it's a different morning, and reporter Adam Wurtzel is preparing to play pickleball.
But first, we're going to serve it on up to Joe. Joe, it was a golden night for Hollywood as the Golden Globes were handed.
Okay, I'm going to warn everybody. Some of these that we pull up have the same links that they'll mix together as other videos, because this guy's about to get hit in the head with this ball. We've seen this before. But the rest of them are different videos that they intermingle, so just a heads up.
But Joe, you say not everyone had a shining moment. Oh, I didn't mean to hit you. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I just thought I was going to go over you. I'm so sorry. Over to you. Joe, are you okay? No. I'm so sorry. Joe, I'm so sorry, dude.
I'm suing him. Talk to a T and a gurney when we come back.
So you do want to maybe drag your mittens into the car, maybe your kittens too, as you head into work in the morning, because your hands are just going to be really cold on that steering wheel.
Max, the true colors of Uranus and Neptune.
Oh.
I've always wondered the true colors of Uranus. I'm glad that we now know what those are. So
yikes.
This is an educational moment today on the cafe, guys, is getting to learn the true colors of Uranus. Thank you all for being here for this. It is so very much appreciated.
More like.
In much the same spirit, presenter Peter Levy is very much on task in his mission for the new BBC Look North campaign.
We're already being
Okay, I need to forewarn anybody. Anything we see that comes from the BBC, just understand they have the worst, the absolute worst technical department in the planet. Okay, they have robotic cameras that do their own things. They're never on point. They're never on where they're supposed to be. So just be forewarned. This guy can start talking and they'll view off to like something going on in Ireland from a camera. It's crazy. So just be warned.
Contacted by viewers watching the program, but we want to know how bad it is where you are, and we will come and film some of the worst. How big is your hole? You can tweet me.
Excuse me?
Okay. How big is your hole? Well, we know the colors of Uranus now, and now they're asking how big is your hole. I'm gonna just shut up now.
Look north at bbc.co.uk. If you can send a picture, Norton's always in a hole. If you can tweet me a picture, that would be good as well. The biggest potholes. We'll be having some of them on the program.
Maybe mixing in with a sleep pellet or two. Oh, there we go. All right, back to you. Oh, here we go. What a full studio tour this morning.
Just don't
Always
lick
wanted to
holes
do
like
that.
in A Christmas Story where he puts his tongue to the pole and it gets stuck.
Don't do that.
Is
that true? Is that even really a thing?
I think it is a thing. Yes,
I don't
absolutely.
know. Does that really happen?
Absolutely.
You think it's stuck?
Yeah.
It's a thing. I'm telling you, it's a thing. I'm telling you this because this guy is stupid, and I'm an idiot, as a lot of you will probably acclaim to. And when that movie came out, of course, I watched it, and then, of course, I had to find out myself. It's a thing, and it sucks because when you do it and you pull your tongue off because you're scared to death that it's going to be stuck permanently, well, you lose your taste buds for about 2 months. I'll just tell you that much, till they reform or whatever. So it's thing. Don't ever do it, folks. Don't ever do it.
Yeah,
Day goes
no.
dumb. Just remember that.
For various reasons, morning weatherman Mark Kriske has arrived to bring his expertise literally to the table.
When there's the two stalls.
Yes.
There's the bigger one.
Right, and the littler one.
And the little one.
Right.
Which one do you use?
Thanks for asking.
Which one do you use?
You know what? That's a good question. Everybody else in here, I should run a poll on that. Like when you go into a bathroom that's in a store, or a restaurant, or wherever, typically they'll have more than one. They'll have a big stall that may be handicapped accessible, and then they have the smaller stall. Which one does everybody use? I want to know. I mean, I'm not going to tell what I use until somebody else says something, but I'm just curious. Which one would you use? The bigger one that has all that room? Like you could have a dance party in those big ones, and then the little one, you're sitting there like this. Okay, so which one do you use? The big one or the little one? Sorry, Joe. What about you, Mama Bear?
I'm with Raquel. I use the one that's the cleanest first.
Yeah. I've had to do that too. Raquel says, yeah, the cleanest. Sometimes the bigger, if the big one is cleaner, I would probably go for that one. But the little one, it's just so small. It's like you get claustrophobia in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something else I learned too, because I had to one time, the men's bathroom was completely full and I had to go bad and I couldn't wait. So I had to go into a women's bathroom and oh my God. I always imagined the women's bathrooms with like a couch and flowers and smelling like beautiful perfumes and stuff. Oh, no. Nasty. Nasty. I was like, holy shit, this is gross. I'm going back to my bath. And I figured, the men's bathrooms you figure are nasty, and they have been, but nope. Ladies' bathrooms are just gross. Sorry. No. Why is that? How is that? I don't get it. Gross. So gross.
I don't know.
I haven't really.
He goes big.
I go big.
He goes big. You see, I go with the little one.
There, it just makes you feel better.
It makes you feel bigger.
No. What?
No.
You have a method.
Yes, I have a method because I feel more people like Sam will use the bigger one, so less people are using the smaller one.
It doesn't want it to feel neglected.
I see.
Help.
In Brighton, Mars Anderson, News Pen.
Thank you, Taylor.
Excuse me.
Elsewhere, as Mark Baden's evening forecast inevitably takes shape, anchor Derek Rose has got an idea.
There is not much diddly squat in terms of snow cover. Diddly squat. That is what's going on tonight. Snow rules night, everybody. Just what is happening with you, by the way?
I'm sorry. I went down a rabbit hole of diddly squat.
Oh boy!
To make sure I had the correct spelling. And there's a farm shop in the UK named Diddly Squat, described as a place of emporium of edible delights. And I lost it. Sorry.
Yep. There it is. Diddly squat, everyone.
See where that'll get you.
We need to take a trip
on the No Rose Night. We should.
And let's get a check of the weather with Alex. Alex is coming up in a second here.
again, oh, wait, that's not Alex. Oh, we got Taylor Swift in there. Yeah.
Living
Taylor
the
and
luxurious
Alex.
life of Taylor Swift.
She wants to know the weather, Alex.
She does.
The Super Bowl will be the 13th game Taylor Swift attends, which is her lucky number. It's also February 11th. That is 13. And
2 plus 11.
Super Bowl 58, 5 plus 8, 13.
Wow.
Back at New Broadcasting House, things are getting more normal virtually by the minute.
Right, we're going to look at the weather forecast for you now. Louise Lear is with me now. Not quite as sunny here as it is in India there, Louise.
No, January cricket, it's all a bit weird, isn't it, really? A bit like the weather.
What I tell you, look at BBC. Why is she all the way on the other side of the room and they're not getting up close? They're showing the back of his head and she's way over there somewhere where you can't see her.
Yep.
They're horrible.
And yes, Tomboy, every chance I got, I used the men's bathroom at the club.
Because it's cleaner, huh?
Mm-hmm. And the line isn't as long.
Yeah, that's another thing. Going at the bars and the clubs, women got to go to the bathroom a lot more than we do. That's true too. And it's because it's cleaner. Because y'all's bathrooms is gross.
Tell you, Ben, I have to say, some real extremes at the moment. In fact, we have swapped recent winter storms with some winter warmth. It looks likely
Here
that
we
we are
go.
going to
Told ya.
not see the weather. I don't know if you can see me or not or hear me, but I'll hand back to Ben and maybe the cameras will sort themselves out.
I've come to the conclusion that they have monkeys working their cameras and everything else over there. They don't have human beings doing it. It's the worst I've ever seen. It happens every time. It's ridiculous.
Here we go. Let's try that again.
Try again.
Yes.
Have another go.
I feel like temperatures really take a tumble too, because after the storm, this is baby spinach. This is not the storm, but this is baby spinach. But that's what I'm talking about there. After the storm, you could have some baby spinach. I mean, why not? But it's going to be cold, as you can see in your 10-day forecast.
Meanwhile, morning anchor Megan Newquist is in the process of taking Chris Eggert through some thoughts of her own.
That's what I'm looking for this year, the misses. So by the way, after that clip aired on the morning news today, somebody called the newsroom interested in helping that man to find his future wife. I believe she was volunteering for it.
She's in Buffalo, so I'm not sure where you are, sir.
We couldn't connect the dots, but I'm just throwing it out there into the universe. Whatever you have your sights set on in 2024, we have our wellness expert here today with some ideas on trying to make it happen.
It was funny. The guy on our desk.
I never figured out those urinal cakes. They smell gross to begin with. Imagine the smell of pee on them. They don't taste. They don't taste good either. Yeah, you don't want, like, I used to go to this place that had in the men's bathroom a urinal that I don't know why they did this, but they had a really long urinal. It looked like a horse trough, okay, that came out of the wall, and they had it full of ice, like from behind the bar, obviously full of ice, and like 5 or 6 of those urinal cake things, and they're so strong smelling, you know. I don't know what the deal was with that, but yeah. Just saying. No, do not tell it. What are you talking about, Tomboy? No, what? It's a trough. Yeah. Real old. Yes.
Yeah, we want to know why you tasted one.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what Tomboy's saying. No, don't tell us.
Well, do I or don't I? Which way is this? She said exactly. So when you're drunk, which I used to be a lot, out with your friends, which I used to be a lot, people do dumb things. They make bets. Guys do dumb shit. And somebody bet me $50. I wouldn't. It was brand new. Don't mind. It wasn't. I didn't. No. Stop. Before we go there, it wasn't in the thing or anything. It was brand new in a plastic wrapper sitting on the counter. He was like, dude, I'll pay you $50 if you taste that thing. Take a bite of that thing. I was like, well, that'll take care of me drinking the rest of the night. Okay. And I did it. They do not taste good. I spit it right back out, you know, but they're gross. They're very gross. And it burnt the shit out of my tongue. I'll tell you that much. Burnt the hell out of my tongue. Yes. It was just a tiny little bite, but it was gross. I made $50 off of it.
There's probably borax in it.
Probably. I'm surprised I'm not dead, but yeah, I mean, it could have been. Anyway, the alcohol rinsed it out the rest of the night, and I had $50. He gave it to me right then and there. So they were just, when I did it, they were like, you really did it, you stupid ass. I said, Money's money, bro. What do you want? And I'm drunk. I'm half drunk now. So, yeah, don't tell me to do stupid. I was one of them guys that would do that dumb shit. So, you know, it's legit caustic. Yeah, I know. I was stupid. I've done other things like that too. So I was that guy. They were like, oh, Joey will do it. Let's do this. Let's see if he'll do that. And see if yeah, I was that idiot. So, you know, they don't taste like they smell. They're bad. They're very bad. Very, very bad. Thank you, Tomboy. Hold on a minute here. All right. It could. It definitely could. It definitely could. I'm not going to disagree, you guys. I'm not the smartest bunny in the basket, or at least I didn't used to be. So yeah, they stink to high heaven. The one I did it to was like pink. I can't remember the smell, but the taste, like I said, my tongue was, I ruined my tongue for a good couple months after that. So there's nothing to joke about, SRB. It's probably true, to be honest. With some of the other shit that I've done too. Yeah, no. I told you before, I ate dog biscuits, you guys. Come on, think about this.
That's less toxic than the other.
Yeah, it is. It is. I agree, 100%. I also told you how I tried to jump on Nelson's ledges between the cliffs.
Mm-hmm.
Ding dong. Yeah, that's me.
Tim was like, hey, Megan, did you have a story on about some guy looking for love? We're like, it's a New Year's resolution. And he's like, I've got a lady on the phone who's interested. I'm like,
holy shit. Either she needs to slow down or she did something on her lunch break she wasn't supposed to. Good Lord. There we go. It needed to slow down.
I don't know who this guy is and how to help them connect.
I hope they're both watching.
Yeah,
somehow the universe can bring them together. And we could say it all happened right here on Minnesota Live,
that.
which would be a first.
It would not. Well, love
yes,
making.
It would be
a
a first that we've got somebody.
Love making, you're right.
Yes.
Making them a love connection.
You said love making. I
thought that's what you said.
Which is why I looked at you that way, but then.
I meant making the love.
I hate cleaning the air fryer with everything in me. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. It is such a mess.
I'm waiting for ours to just blow up because of air fryer oil and grease.
Well, my mother-in-law bought my wife, gave her a lot of these liner things you can put in that bottom tray that goes in the bottom of it. They don't work. So don't even bother with them. They're a waste of money. It's a joke. So don't. But yeah, try doing a commercial one. I've never seen a commercial one, so I don't think so. I got that little black thing. It's about that big. Sits on my counter. It's got 1, 2, 3 trays in it, I think.
Good Lord, that's huge.
It is a bigger one, but it's not the commercial size one. We used a commercial mop bucket and let that I'll bet that would be interesting.
Silicone one rocks. What brand is it? Silicone. You're muted, dude. Smack your mic.
She's probably talking about the tray in the bottom, the silicone.
Oh. Still gets crap everywhere.
9-inch one air fryer with double doors. That's the one my mom has. I like that one. Ours is the one in between the small one and that one. It's got a rotisserie thing. It's got the 1 door and three. I think it's 3 trays. Yeah.
It just got the little one that's got the bucket you shove in and out.
Oh, the little one. Yeah, that's the first one we had. Gotcha. Okay. I didn't know they made a silicone tray. I'm about to tell my wife, because that you could just pull that thing out, spray it off, and throw it back in there. That'd be easy, because everything falls out of it, I would imagine. That's interesting. We're going to look into that for sure. After I'm done using it, I put some water in it, put it back in. Then after I use a brush that you know it's hard is the racks that go in it. They're like that mesh material. Those are the most pain in the ass to clean I've ever seen. Because everything that sticks to them, it's hard to get it off. I have to use a scrub brush on those to clean those. It's crazy. Never owned an air fryer. I bought my husband an enclosed fryer. Yeah, I have one of those too, but I never use that in the house because it stinks your house up to no end. I use it in the garage if we use it for anything. That's what I have, Taylor, is a scrub brush. It still sucks. Pain in the ass.
Come on, Chuck Woolery, stay with me. No.
Nope, let's move on.
Now, a rocket has blasted off
Here we
from
go
Cape
again.
Canaveral in Florida for what is hoped will be an achievement not seen in more than 50 years. If successful, it will propel a U.S. lander to the...
You see what I'm saying? Here we are back in the... Who's the guy talking? They have no idea. There's monkeys running their cameras. That's all I'm telling you.
surface of the moon. Palab Ghosh has the story.
Calm. Go.
Back at BBC Pacific Key, as can sometimes happen on days when nothing can go wrong, it does.
And I Judith is the weather. Hello. Hello, a very good evening to you. Well, it really was lovely to see the sunshine today, and things are set to change as we head through the overnight period, as we see some rain moving in. And it will be quite heavy rain as well as it pushes in across the country, persistent in nature. With us first thing tomorrow
Monkeys,
morning, quite
folks,
an unpleasant
monkeys.
start to the day with heavy, persistent rain. Quite an unpleasant rush hour, actually, and quite brisk winds as well. Warning for rain for eastern Scotland, stretching from Fife down to the Borders area, valid from 9 a.m. tomorrow until Thursday morning. But it will be the persistence of the rain that will be the issue, because the rain does ease from many places, becoming confined to the east and something drier for the southwest, and some sunshine too for the northwest Highlands. And temperature-wise, we're looking at 7 or 8 Celsius, but the easterly winds will make it feel cool, if not quite cold. Into tomorrow evening, that rain does ease, leaving lots of dry weather with clear spells, just a few spots of rain for the southeast. That clears away very quickly on Wednesday morning, then dry with plenty of sunshine, but a cold feel to the day pretty much across the board. Yeah, apologies. I think we seem to have a little bit of trouble with your weather there, but we heard your voice, even if we didn't see the pictures. Thanks, Judith. Yeah, apologies for that technical difficulty there. I see your face. I was dying. Here we go. 3, 2, 3. Show girl. Wait, no, just wait. 3, 2. Stop. I'm so sorry.
I wonder if it's like a prerequisite if you can count to get this job. Just curious. Just curious.
I'm sorry. 3, 2.
Meanwhile, Hannah Mordo is acclimating quickly to her even more elevated role as Daybreak's co-lead anchor.
Starbucks is now selling its extra virgin olive oil infused drinks across the country, but some customers complain the drinks send them straight to the bathroom. Lineup launched in a few cities last year. I don't know the details on why, but they had subpar reviews from customers. Despite those reviews, Starbucks launched the drinks across the U.S. and Canada. Yes.
So they're basically selling laxative drinks now?
Yep, pretty much. That's what it sounds like to me.
Why? Ew. Who the hell would want to drink olive oil?
I don't know.
And like, so if you buy this, you better be somewhere near a bathroom once you start drinking it, because as soon as you do, right there, that's gross as hell. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Extra virgin olive oil coffee. Nope. I'm out.
Yesterday, lineup includes oat milk latte infused with olive oil and a new toffee nut ice shaken espresso with golden foam that contains olive oil.
What?
Sorry. Marcus.
Yeah, keto. That's how that diet works. It's just you shit all over yourself. Therefore, in turn, you don't have to worry about any weight on. That's a good way to do it. I get it now. Yes, I've done the butter in your coffee thing, and I actually, when I was doing the keto with my wife, it worked. But extra virgin olive oil, come on now, that's too much.
Thank you.
No, that's slick. I'll put it that way. Yes.
I started giggling that I could.
Of course
stop.
I did. Oh my gosh.
To do what?
I mean, your guess is as good as mine.
I don't have one.
Listen, my mind's running wild a little bit.
You coffee folks have some odd reactions.
Joe, just does her coffee.
All to
just
get
with a
that
little-
addiction to caffeine, you go through an awful lot, right?
I just burp every once in a while. That's
It must taste really good.
the burp?
No, the olive oil.
Oh,
Ew.
I depends what that was.
Yeah.
I saw a
Sorry.
checkered flag waving there for just a second.
Yeah, I'm sorry to laugh over. It was a good view.
That's all right.
What happened?
What did you just figure out about the coffee?
Oh no. Go ahead. You have breaking news?
No.
No, you don't want to bring it up now?
No.
Okay.
No, that we're going right down the drain here.
Just flush those thoughts right out, right? Okay.
There we go.
Very good. All right. Anyway. Who left the mic on? Anyway.
Not me.
Oh,
Someone had some oil-infused Starbucks.
Man, tough crowd.
We got to gather ourselves here. All right. 3, 2, 1.
You know, you got to keep moving. Are there any men in there? I think I only saw one man in like 20. 25 women. That is a lucky guy right there.
They're all dead.
Oh no.
That's how we didn't see
that. Well, I know, but you don't have to say
Mathematically
it.
speaking. Dead?
Maybe they just didn't want to dance to Taylor Swift.
They're gone.
No, they're in the cafeteria. Don't tell Aaliyah.
They gone.
You're making her sad.
Sorry.
Tara.
Me and Gumber in the old folks home someday.
No, y'all gonna be
Yeah, we did.
Okay, I don't know that that was that funny, but I don't know. We'll see. Hold on here. 1 minute. Oh, they do exist. I'll be damned. Look, folks. Dun 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 dun. Here it comes. I'm gonna show my wife, and we are getting it because I usually have to clean it.
Oh,
There they
So
are.
what?
Silicone air fryer liners. You pull it out and wash it out, and you're done. Sweet. Thank you, SRB and Mama Bear, for finding it.
That
ours
was
is different.
Tomboy.
Or was it Tomboy that? Okay,
They
sorry.
sent it to me. Yeah.
My apologies.
She said, "What the?"
Sorry. I mix up names sometimes. My apologies. That's awesome though. I can't wait. Gonna make my life easier. That's for dang sure. All right.
Yeah.
Now the other thing I was gonna pull up.
Now I have to clean the air fryer to use those.
Yeah, they're a mess. They really are a mess. I try to clean it like right after it's used because if you let it sit and anything sticks to it, good luck. Yeah. There we go. All right, Tomboy. Thank you. It almost seems like this guy's maybe irritated about this.
Sports.
Can't hear you.
I know. And you
And
passed.
why were you talking?
I was testing you. That's crazy though. It really is absolutely crazy. Good for him. Good for him. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for this part of this for this show for today, the morning show. Thank you guys for being here. I'll be back here shortly with the secondary show where we're going to be finishing off what we looked into yesterday. We're going to be reviewing, for those of you that have been following us, Dave's interview and some other things that have gone on with this as well. So please tune in if you're interested. We will be here for that. I don't know if Mama Bear will be joining me. You have stuff to do. Are you going to be joining me for that one or what?
I'm not sure. I'll have to let you know.
Yep. And it won't be. Yesterday, I did it. I made that show yesterday, 3 hours maybe? 3.5, maybe, something like that. Thank God. No 8-hour shows, but yeah. Thank you, Josie.
I was asleep.
Yes, he was sleeping. Okay. I hope we got it out. Yes, thank you all so much for joining us. We will see you guys soon again. Like I said, I'll be back here very shortly. I'll have it posted up soon for the Idaho 4 situation so we can review the rest of that stuff, talk about everything else. as we've been doing for everybody that's interested, please be there. We're looking forward to seeing you guys. If you haven't hit the like button for this on your way out the door, please do it. Share it out. Please make sure to hit the like button on Mama Bear's side as well. Please. That being said, guys, pretty please. Yes. Don't forget to love yourselves and love each other, folks. You guys are amazing. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you all. I appreciate you all very much. For those of you that I may not see, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Other than that, folks, much love. See you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, guys. See you later.
Life's a journey, let's make every moment shine. Together we share, our hearts so intertwined. Each time you tune in, we're dancing in sync. With every story told, just let your soul think. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. Kick back, take a breath, leave your worries behind. This podcast is magic, a treasure you'll find. With every moment shared, we light up the way. Join us next time for more laughs and play. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. Kick back, take a breath, leave your worries behind. This podcast is magic, a treasure you'll find. With every moment shared, we light up the way. Join us next time for more laughs and play. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. So gather round friends, it's time to reflect. In this joyful moment, what's next to connect? Let's cherish the laughter, the joy that we spread. Together we'll thrive until our hearts are fed. See you next time with stories anew. Can't wait to share more with all of you. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. So gather round friends, it's time to reflect. In this joyful moment, what's next to connect? Let's cherish the laughter, the joy that we spread. Together we'll thrive until our hearts are fed. See you next time with stories anew. Can't wait to share more with all of you. See you next time with stories anew. Can't wait to share more with all of you. Life's a journey,